you're gonna do great things. I already know God's got his hand on you, so don't live life in fear. Forgive and forget, but don't forget why you're here. Take your time and pray, and thank God for each day. His love will find a way. These are the words I would say.
Giving you a way to help in the recovery and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Ian. This is Hope After the Hurricane,
a special edition of the Morning Cruise here at the Joy FM.
We're hoping that you will join us today as we partner with Convoy of Hope to help raise support for those most affected by Hurricane Ian. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to tell a couple of stories coming up. There's one man by the name of Matt who lives on Fort Myers Beach, and just the story he tells of watching his neighbor just not knowing which direction the storm was going to go. So I'm going to tell that story coming up in a couple of minutes. But if you're listening this morning, there's two ways to help. You can go to thejoyfm.com and click on Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text Florida to 68828.
And people all over Georgia and Alabama and Florida are joining in this effort to help Convoy of Hope. It was so amazing to be there, to see their operation live, to talk to Ethan, who is their media director, and to even see people walking up during the time we were there doing some filming and talking and learning about the operation to say, okay, how can we have help? And just to watch the way they got responded to and helped and pointed in the right direction. But one of the reasons we decided to partner with Convoy is that they have an amazing infrastructure to be able to get this hope where it's needed. And this is something that is far better than what you or I could do if we loaded up our pickup truck and just drove south. So, I want you to hear a little bit about the way they have things set up with Ethan from Convoy of Hope.
It's my perception that there are three parts to responding to a crisis like this. And the first is rescue, and that's still going on here in Fort Myers along the beaches. Then there's at the end part, you have the restoration phase, which is trying to get back to normal. But this is the relief part of the effort that Convoy of Hope is leading here in Fort Myers. And Ethan, I wanted just to ask you to explain, why is it that giving to an organization like Convoy of Hope can often be more effective than loading up the truck and driving south?
Well, because we have that infrastructure and we have the relationships in place. And when I say relationships, I mean with the churches where we land and are able to set up and get the supply to where it's needed, because they are our eyes and ears on the ground. But beyond that, the relationships with corporations who donate a lot of the product that you see around this makeshift warehouse. 98% roughly of what Convoy gets is donated product. And that's because corporations trust us to be good stewards with what they give us. They know that it's going to be used properly. So we're able to have that on hand and then get it to a site like this when the time comes.
And for example, I can buy a bottle of water and bring it down, but if I put that same buying power in the hands of Convoy, you can multiply that.
Absolutely, 5 times.
That's amazing.
Least. And we can get it there.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. We can take your dollar, stretch it so much further than you would be able to do on your own. And I know a lot of people, sometimes they feel like they're not doing enough.
Right.
But when you give money, it is doing enough, because we have the things in place, the mechanisms to make that dollar expand and stretch.
Hard question before I get you to show me around. So about how much of every dollar stays in the specific direct relief efforts that you guys are working on?
Last year, more than 91 cents of every dollar went where the donor wanted it to go.
That's amazing.
Well, that's hard work.
Yes.
But it's something that we take very seriously and we're very proud of.
Yeah.
Charity Navigator, you can look this up. Charity Navigator has rated us a top 4 out of 4-star charity when it comes to financial integrity for the last 18 straight years.
That's amazing.
That's tough to do, but we've done it. And now that we have that, we work hard to maintain it because you don't want to lose it.
When Dave and Carmen traveled to Biloxi, and they were looking around after Katrina came in, they were amazed at the well-intentioned efforts of people that actually were wasted, and how much it's important to have an infrastructure like you're describing in order to really get the aid where it needs to go. So will you walk me around and just show me some of the stuff that's in here and give people a sense of this operation?
You bet. We can maybe start here. This is boxed milk, 2% milk. A lot of this is baby supplies for kids because kids need, what is this, baby food right here, Gerber baby food. We have wipes, we have diapers, we have everything that young families need to take care of their kids whenever you plan maybe for a few days without power, but you haven't planned for more than a week or so without power. Right. We have toilet paper, all the things that people are going to need. We have totes there so that they can save their valuables. They can put things in them that they're, if their house was messed up badly, they can just gather the stuff. Canned goods, of course, peanut butter. We have boxes. Paul's over there moving boxes of groceries that we've already bagged up. These are just the basic necessities that people need to get going from today into tomorrow and feel that hope that we were talking about.
And I noticed you even have generators here.
We do.
And you brought forklifts with you to move this stuff around. It's a working warehouse here in a tent.
It really is. This tent we had set up. We do this every time we're on a major disaster so that we can work in and out of this warehouse. It protects the items and it allows us to keep them confined. But yeah, we bring down on those 16, 17 vehicles that we drive down in on the convoy. We have those hand carts. We have forklifts. We have because when we get into a town, there's a big chance that everything's destroyed that we would use. So, and if it's not destroyed, the people who own it are going to need it. So we bring everything so that we're not a drain on the community.
Yeah. One more angle that I'd like to get as I'm talking to you today. Let's go out in the parking lot and let's experience what it's like to be part of the effort of actually reaching people, touching them with the supplies that they need so that they feel that sense of hope.
Right.
It's Hope After the Hurricane here on the Morning Cruise at the Joy FM.
There are so many stories coming out now that it's been, goodness, a week and a half since the hurricane. And one of the stories I saw is the story of Matt Oakley, Matt and his wife Trish. And they live on Fort Myers Beach. And here's the hard thing about Matt and his wife Trish. Their house was affected after Hurricane Irma. So they had just rebuilt from Hurricane Irma in 2017. But the story that I saw in the news, this was the Fort Myers News Press, is that Matt and his neighbor, I don't know the neighbor's name, but Matt and his neighbor, when the hurricane, took that turn pretty quickly, they start texting, calling each other frantically, what do we do? What do we do? They decided to stay there. So Matt and Trish are in their home, and his neighbor and his wife, they're in their home. And so the neighbor calls Matt and he goes, we can't stay here. Like their water is coming in and just rushing into our house. And Matt said, get up on the kitchen counter. That's the first thing he told him to do. Get up on the kitchen counter. A little bit later, the neighbor calls him back. He goes, we can't stay here. Like it's up to the kitchen counter. He said, okay, go upstairs. So they went upstairs. Again, the water's rising from the storm surge. And Matt said, get up into the attic. Y'all, the water came all the way up into the attic. And so Matt is on the phone with his neighbor and he was like, you kick, you beat the roof as much as you can. You've got to bust through your roof. He's on the phone with his neighbor. He said, bust through your roof, find whatever you can, bust through it. And Matt said that he and his wife Trish are literally looking out their window, their second story floor window, just waiting to see the hole come through the roof where the neighbor and his wife could get up on the roof. And he said it was a long time. It felt like forever. But finally they saw the hole poke through. They were able to get through their roof, sit on top of the roof until they could have someone to rescue them. So it's just stories like that are coming out. These are the folks that we want to help. And we're looking to our Joy FM family today to help us. There's two ways that you can give, and we're going to check with Johanna in just a couple of minutes. But you can go online to thejoyfm.com and click to give Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text the word Florida to 688-222. 8828.
You told that story, Carmen, and there were still people when I was there talking to Convoy last week who were being rescued at that time.
Yes.
This operation has been just incredible. So many people involved. Convoy of Hope is our partner because they're doing such great work at meeting people right where they are with the emergency supplies and the things that they need to get back on their feet. So Johanna's watching as our listeners are giving today, and they're part of this effort.
Just, all over our listening area, gifts of all different sizes. Just text the word Florida to 68828, and over $41,000 has been given so far.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
That
Thank
is
you.
so
Can we
good.
double that? Can we double that maybe before the top of the hour?
Let's do it.
That would be so awesome. And Dave, the way our artist friends have responded, goodness gracious.
Yes, indeed. One of the ones that responded is someone who actually went through this with us.
Yeah.
You know, once we saw Ian blow through Fort Myers, he went right up through the center of the state. Orlando and Lakeland got poured on pretty well. And one of our favorite artists lives in Orlando. Her name is Blanca, and she was one of the ones to respond with a video for us.
Hey friends, I'm Blanca, and I just wanted to take a moment to say that my prayers and my thoughts go out to all of those that have been affected by Hurricane Ian in my hometown, my home state of Florida. I was in it with you guys, experienced flooding and just all the craziness. So I'm in it with you. I understand a lot of you lost power, went through super crazy trials, and I want you to know that you're not alone, that God is in this with us. He's healing, He's restoring, He's redeeming all parts of our story, even in this time. And I love that we are coming together to just stand united and say we're not alone in this. We're here to encourage one another and be supportive of one another. So I wanted to sing a little bit of my song, The Healing, for all of you. And I hope this brings encouragement to your life. I believe in you, maker of stars, the sun, moon, heaven and earth, designed by you. Oh, I believe in you, took my weary heart, broken and bruised, every part you made brand new. Yeah. Ooh, even when fear tries to dim my light. Ooh, I won't walk by side, 'cause I could feel it rising on the inside. A fire burning wild, bringing me to life. My God is so much more than just a feeling. You're my healing. You're my healing. Oh, healing me. You're healing. You're healing. Healing me. You're healing. You're healing. I love you guys. I'm with you guys. All my love and support. Take care.
That is Blanca, The Healing, and that is part of what we're doing today is trying to help to facilitate the healing by encouraging you to be a part of Convoy of Hope's efforts in the hardest hit parts of our listening area.
Yeah, this is called Hope After the Hurricane, the special edition of the Morning Cruise. And you can also watch what you're hearing by going to thejoyfm.com. You can give online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text the word Florida to 68828. That's 68828.
And one of the things that I want us to remember, and this is just human nature. It happens to all of us. I'm certainly at the top of the list. But a lot of times, once the news cycle is done, a lot of folks will rush in right after. We all do this. I do this. But we rush in right afterwards. But goodness gracious, I mean, there are people who are still rebuilding from the hurricane that hit the Panhandle several years ago. So I want to make a big impact today because it hasn't left the news cycle locally because we all live here. This is our family. This is our communities. But nationally, it has cycled off. And I just want us to still remember these folks and raise support today to truly help these people rebuild. These are our families and our neighbors.
Yeah, for many of us, life is just back to normal after the hurricane, but there are still folks who are dealing with the loss of a home, and the shock has given way to just unbelief in some cases. Other folks, and I know that we have a lot of folks that listen in the heartland of Florida, where they have ranches and farms, and there was so much damage from flooding there. We have folks listening on the east coast of Florida, in Jacksonville and St. Augustine and Orlando, and all of these areas were affected. Blanca herself,
Right.
from Orlando, and I was just checking and seeing that still flooding issues are happening. FEMA has set up disaster recovery centers in the Orlando area and all through the counties around there, as well as, of course, Southwest Florida, where our effort is concentrated today.
Right. And you mentioned the Heartland. I know our church has already partnered with a church in Arcadia that lost several buildings, or at least have several buildings that are going to need to be cleaned up and restored after the hurricane came through. I saw a lot of the power trucks that had come down to help with restoring power in Florida headed back north yesterday, because for many, that work is done. But there's so much work yet to be done. In my neighborhood, for example, which we didn't get hit hard, but we lost a lot of trees. A lot of the tree debris is still piled up on the side of the roads. I don't know when it's going to get picked up, because right now our neighborhood is not the priority.
Sure.
The priorities are in the Heartland and in Fort Myers.
I mean, just like Fort Myers, they say 90% of Fort Myers is just gone. It's just, it's not there. So
Fort Myers Beach.
Yeah,
That's
Fort Myers
just been,
Beach.
it's been to see the footage. And if you're watching online today, you can see some of the actual footage from that area that our videographers captured and Convoy of Hope captured. And I think it's hard for us just to look at this and do nothing.
Yeah.
So we're asking you to do something today.
And here's how you can. You can go to thejoyfm.com, click on Convoy of Hope, or you can text Florida to 68828.
this particular event called an icon out of his vacation. Stephen Curtis Chapman responded to us. He didn't have a guitar with him. He was on vacation, but still wanted to send a video.
Well, hello to my Joy FM family. Stephen Curtis Chapman here, and with a very heavy heart, so sorry just for the devastation that so many of you are experiencing as a result of Hurricane Ian right now. And like so many people all around the country, lifting you up and praying for you. I also want to say thank you to those who maybe have been less affected still in that area, who are reaching out with physical, tangible comfort and help, not only through prayers, but just through participating in Hope After the Hurricane, through a partnership with Convoy of Hope, a wonderful organization that I've had a relationship with through the years. So I'm so thankful for your involvement in that. Continue to support all these efforts that are going on. That would be my encouragement for you, because we have a unique opportunity here as we want to encourage others to not lose heart, as a song maybe that I am singing currently says. And how do we do that? How do we, not lose heart? It's so often through the tangible expression from others of hope and encouragement to us. And 2 Corinthians says this. It's incredibly encouraging for us at times like this. It says, "Our God is our merciful Father and the source of all comfort. And he comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others when they are troubled. And we will be able to give them the same comfort that God has given us." So God bless you as you do that. And God be with you and comfort you in this time. And don't lose heart. God bless you. Thanks.
Another sleepless night, praying hope comes with the morning light. And right now you're feeling like you've lost this fight, and fear is screaming out your name. When you say, "God help me," you wonder if he's even listening. Truth is, I wonder the very same thing, so you don't have to feel ashamed. Let me walk with you through this valley and tell you all that I've learned to be true. Don't lose heart, don't you dare let go. I've been where you are, you are not alone. I know it gets dark, I lose heart. Take my hand and I'll show you all the scars from where I've been. Remind you how we both know this story ends. And I know you'll do the same for me. These afflictions that are only temporary are gonna turn to glory beyond compare. So don't lose heart, don't you dare let go. Been where you are not alone. I know it gets dark, I know it gets hard, but we're gonna make it home. So don't lose heart. Don't lose hope, don't lose faith. Just hold on tight to every promise God has made. You can lose the fear in the light of grace. Just lift your eyes to your Father's face. Hear the song He's singing over you. Don't lose heart. I won't ever let you go. I'm right where you are. You're safe in my arms. So don't lose heart. Don't you dare let go. Been where you are. You're never gonna be alone. I know it gets dark. I know it gets hard. But we're gonna make it home. So don't lose heart. No, don't lose heart. Don't lose heart. We're gonna make it home. So don't lose heart.
It's the live stream. Here we are. We made it.
We didn't have time to make a theme song, so there we go.
Yeah.
We get it.
All right. Are we on now? Or when I heard 15 seconds to go, I'm not sure if that meant we're live now, but I'm going to fill that time of maybe we're live.
It kind of feels...
We are definitely live. We're
Isn't
getting
that
word now.
fun?
Hold on.
I've never been a sportscaster before, but this is a real introduction into the life. And let me tell you, they got a lot going on
Yeah.
up in here.
Go team. Hey, the team, we're on Team Convoy of Hope today.
Mm-hmm.
And we're asking for your help today to text the word Florida to 68828. There's actually another way you can give. If you're watching the stream at thejoyfm.com, you might as well give a gift right there.
It's there. It's there. The button's right there. You ask you go to thejoyfm.com, click the Convoy of Hope button, and give your gift of support. And we know that this is just such a wild time for everyone. So if you are somebody that is struggling, if you're somebody that is going, I am rebuilding right now, then I hope that you are enjoying the performances, enjoying the encouragement, but do not feel pressure. This is for the friends kind of like us here in Sarasota that
we're friends. Oh, that I see what you're saying.
friends. I mean, we can be friends if you want.
Yeah.
But the friends that narrowly escaped Hurricane Ian and are able to now turn around and help.
Yeah, we're going to talk about throughout this live stream today. We're going to be talking about some of the specific stories. Actually, you're a Midwest girl, and there was one story of a family from the Midwest.
I know. Well, hearing the morning crews talk about it, it just kind of really gave me a perspective into what very well could have been my own situation, because as much prep as you can, put into preparing for a hurricane, to know what to do in the moment is so confusing and difficult. And they shared a story of how Matt was on the phone with his neighbor saying, you need to kick through the roof. Matt is from Minnesota originally. He's seeing what's happening to his neighbors who are originally from Wisconsin, where I moved from. And the thought of telling my husband to kick through the roof, I mean,
that's real.
It's really, really intense. And the fact that they were able to do that and help each other.
And you think about that
really
couple
cool.
from the Midwest that all of a sudden Ian was supposed to go up to the Panhandle, and so everybody down Fort Myers, everybody, you picture somebody from Wisconsin, somebody from Minnesota, their neighbors, and then oh boy, pray for the Panhandle, and then within days, you're having to call your neighbor saying, "Kick through the roof!" Like,
Right.
This is real.
It is very, very real. And those are the families that we're hoping to help rebuild in this difficult time with the help of Convoy of Hope. And you are a key factor, because when you give a gift of support, I know it might not feel like you're doing much, but you are doing so much, because Convoy has the systems in place to make this relief effort successful, which is incredible.
Yeah, since their arrival from when Ian hit, Convoy has provided aid to about 20,000 people already.
Wow.
Which is awesome. We're going to talk about, in just about 20, 30 minutes here on the live stream, we're going to talk about one of the stories of where the hurricane rolled through Pine Island, which is one of the biggest islands off the coast of Florida. And there's a pastor that went in, and it's just a very powerful video we're going to talk about just a little bit. We appreciate your help here this morning. The live stream, Hope After the Hurricane. You can give by texting the word Florida to 68828.
Thank you.
Thank you.
In the recovery and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Ian. This is Hope After the Hurricane.
It's Dave, Bill, and Carmen, the Morning Cruise at the Joy FM with our special edition of the Morning Cruise.
A special broadcast event, and you're getting a live video feed from this event as well. All 4 hours with special performances by some of your favorite artists, with some of the look at what Convoy of Hope is doing in the Fort Myers area as they reach out to the hardest hit areas from the hurricane, including Pine Island, including Fort Myers Beach, Sanibel Island, some of the areas where rescues were still going on when I was talking to Ethan. So we'll have some of that. We have special guests in here today, and we're really doing all of this to try to give you an opportunity to know, well, how can I help? Well, you can help by texting the word Florida to 68828, or by going online and giving a gift to Convoy during this broadcast.
When did the hurricane came through? It was Wednesday into Thursday, and it probably was Thursday afternoon. The text and emails started coming in from our Joy FM listening family saying, "How can we help? How can we help? How can we help?" And we've done a lot of things in the past whenever there's been a natural disaster, and just various different ways. But man, when we saw the images and started talking with some folks, just the scale of just devastation was just heartbreaking. And Convoy of Hope, they are set up right now at First Assembly in Fort Myers. They're going to be there long after the news trucks are gone, and they're just a fantastic organization. They're built for this. They come in. As a matter of fact, Bill, you said when you were down there, just the 4 stories high of just water, and you can come. They have distribution times where they have times where folks could just come and get whatever they need, whether it be a hot meal, whether it be diapers, anything that you need, water, all of it. So here's how you can help today. There's 2 ways to help. You can go to thejoyfm.com and click on Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text Florida to 68828. And I want to check in with Johanna, because Johanna, you're monitoring our progress over here, and I know we're starting to hear from some folks.
Yeah, we're hearing from all over. We've heard from several cities in South Carolina, Florida, Georgia, Alabama, all helping. Even some that are in the area that were impacted are giving the gift of support, and our total is approaching $50,000. We're $49,899 so far.
Oh, that is great. Do you know that $1,000 in the hands of Convoy of Hope can feed 30 families for an entire day? And $4,500 will feed 20 families for an entire week. So many times we look at a disaster like this and we feel so helpless. What can I do?
Yeah.
And you mentioned the word scale, Carmen, the last time, and I thought this is the real key here.
Yeah.
Convoy has scaled this relief operation so that they can make such an impact. Again, 20 families can be fed for an entire week with a gift of $4,500. I mean, that's a significant impact. It doesn't fix the whole problem. This is a multi-layered thing that's going to take months of recovery. In some cases, people are having to sort of reshape their whole idea of what their life is going to be like. But there are so many families that have been impacted just in trying to meet basic needs for children, for elderly people, and being able to do the work that Convoy is doing. It's making a difference, and that's why we're asking you to give.
And I just want you to know that you're giving today. And again, you can text the word Florida to 68828 or go online at thejoyfm.com. But all of the giving today is being directed directly to those who have been impacted by Hurricane Ian.
Now, maybe you've got the wherewithal to do a $4,500 gift, and you could feed that entire family for, what was it, Bill, a month?
For for an entire week, 20 families for a week. Yeah,
20 families for a week. That would be tremendous. If you could do that, that'd be fantastic. If you can't do 4,500, maybe you can do 45, or maybe you can do 100. We're not going to tell you exactly what to do, because this is the truth. We are a large family, the Joy FM family. Part of our family is hurting. Most of our family is not. So we're just asking those of you who are not hurting right now to do what you can to help the people that are hurting right now. And we've had a lot of our artist friends who came on board to help encourage you, including some of our favorite siblings.
Yes, talking about family, Dave. These three. Cain.
We're Cain. Joy FM family. We love you guys so much. One of our very first shows that we played in 2020 was for and with you guys, and we were so nervous. And I couldn't believe the love and support. And we just hope so much that during this time you feel supported and loved by us.
It's really hard for us to even have the words to relate. This is just such an awful thing. But more than anything, we wanted you to know we're praying for you tonight. We're thinking of all of you. And we wanted to even encourage those who were not affected, but they used their time, their prayer, their physical labor to help with the Hope After the Hurricane event.
Yeah, and if we know anything, we know that our God still is a God of redemption and a God that leaves nothing unbroken and unfixed. And so we just wanted to sing a song with you tonight. Ready?
Ready.
In the dark and all alone, growing comfortable, are you too scared to move and walk out of this tomb? Buried underneath the lies that you believe, safe and sound, stuck in the ground, too lost to be found. You're just asleep, and it's time to leave. Come on, rise up, take a breath, you're alive now. Can you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? You're brand new, the power of death couldn't hold you. Can you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? Oh, rise up, oh, out from the grave. Right now we just pray, we believe and we call on the name of Jesus right now over everybody that is lost. We command that the enemy return everything that's been stolen. Come on, sing it. Oh, 'cause he's calling us to walk out of the dark. Oh, yeah. And he's giving us new resurrected heart. Oh, come on and rise up, take a breath, you're alive now. Can you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? You're brand new, the power of death couldn't hold you. Can you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? Oh, rise up, oh, rise up, out from the grave like Lazarus. Love you guys, man.
Present a special live-streamed broadcast with guests and exclusive performances, giving a way for you to help in the recovery and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Ian. This is Hope After the Hurricane.
Dave, Bill, and Carmen here on the Joy FM with several friends throughout the morning.
Just reading some of the stories that have come out since Hurricane Ian. I was actually reading Tracy O'Leary's story just a couple of minutes ago. Tracy lives down in the Bonita Springs area. She's 64 years old, and she said a 99-cent battery-operated candle literally saved her life. She said that the floodwaters had come up to her shoulders, and she was trying to get out of her house. and she busted a window, and she had one of the, y'all have seen those little tea light candles that are battery operated.
My wife loves them.
Yes. And she had one of those and was able to bust out a window and then just wave outside of the window, wave that candle, that battery operated candle, to get the attention of what she says is her hero neighbor, for him to know that she was in there, and he came and helped her out. And there's just so many stories like that we're hearing. We told the story a little bit earlier of Matt, who literally is talking to his neighbor, and his neighbor, first he tells him to get on the kitchen countertops, then he says go upstairs, and he's in the attic, and he's saying find whatever you can, bust through the roof. And he and his wife are frantically just waiting for that hole to come through the roof so they could get on top to be rescued. Just heartbreak. A lot of folks hurting, just complete devastation. And we are working with the folks with Convoy of Hope to help these hurting people, our neighbors, our friends, our family south of us. And you can do that in two ways. You can text the word Florida to 68828, or you can go online to thejoyfm.com and click on Hope after the hurricane.
I was reading a story, Carmen, earlier today, Dave, of a 21-year-old who stayed on Fort Myers Beach because they've been through hurricanes before, and she was staying with her grandparents. And at one point, the house across from them was moving toward them.
Yeah.
That's how powerful the storm was. Thank God they survived. And for the survivors, Convoy is there. They are there from the moment that the hurricane is headed to the wherever it's going to go. And of course, it made that last minute turn, which is what resulted in such damage in the area that we're talking about. But they are there with the ability to reach the people and give them what they need. And that's what we're doing today. They are just a conduit. So every dollar that's given today is going directly to Convoy of Hope. And we want you to sort of hear and to see a little bit about this organization and what they do and who they are and how they make a difference in people's lives. So we talked with Ethan, the director of media for Convoy, and we want you to hear a little bit about that operation and what they're doing in the area that's been affected by Hurricane Ian.
Ethan Forhetz is the national spokesman for Convoy of Hope, and we're here in the parking lot at First Assembly Fort Myers where Convoy has been set up. And I'll tell you, Ethan, one of the things that really struck me was that the blog that you guys started posting about this, it started to be active before the hurricane actually struck.
Well, Bill, if there's one good thing about a hurricane, is that we can see it coming.
Yeah.
And that was the case in this situation. We could see it coming. So we had, with our great contacts through churches all out throughout Florida, we were on the horn, asking where we could stage, where we could set up, if it came their direction. And then it kind of jogged at the last minute there, made a turn to the south. And we ended up here, which has been a great partner, the First Assembly. They have a great big parking lot. It's empty most of the time. That's why Convoy partners with churches. And they have great volunteers that we can call on. But yeah, we can see a hurricane coming in advance. Our people are really good at planning things out. They've done this many, many times, many hurricanes. This one is a little bit different. They're all a little bit different in the way that they hit and how they affect people, but our team is great at rolling with it.
Let's do some numbers. So first of all, how many trucks did you guys have coming down I-75?
We drove down with about 17 big vehicles, many of them this size.
Yeah.
That's a big convoy. We call it a convoy of hope. It's a literal convoy of hope moving into the area while a lot of other people are moving out. Yeah, so that's a lot of trucks.
And we are the Tuesday beyond the hurricane, which really hit Wednesday to Thursday of last week. How many people do you think you guys have served from this location and others?
Wow, it's in the thousands at this point.
Right.
We had 800 families come through on the vehicles, maybe more than one family in a vehicle. 800 vehicles come through on that first distribution in this parking lot on Saturday.
Yeah.
Since then, we've taken stuff in through the church to neighborhoods, dropped it off, held another distribution here. Another distribution is planned for tomorrow. Today, we're sending our teams onto Pine Island, which has been cut off. I know there are 9,000 people who live there on a regular basis. Not sure how many stayed, but they don't have access to anything. They're cut off. They can't get there or back. So we've got clearance to send in boats with supply, gasoline. They can't drive their vehicles, and then food and protein. They haven't had food in days. Wow. So there's a very, very big need.
Well, in just a couple of minutes, we're going to go back and take a look at the warehouse to see how you guys have organized everything, because it's quite an operation here. But let's just talk for 1 second about the heart of what you're doing, because I know you're distributing water, distributing food, meeting people, but the name Convoy of Hope has significance.
It does. What we are really doing whenever we give somebody a case of water, a bag or two of groceries, we're giving them hope. We're seeing our team sees a lot of people on the second to worst day of their life, sometimes the worst day of their life to that point. There's a sense of hopelessness when something like this happens. And a lot of times all people need is somebody to put an arm around their shoulder, pray with them if they'd like that, and just tell them it's going to be okay. We're here with you, we support you. We get to do that through tangible items. It's interesting, following Hurricane Harvey, there was a woman that we helped, and her story has lived on in an amazing way. Every time there's something that happens, this disaster is no exception, she posts on her Twitter account about cheese sandwiches, and she donates to Convoy of Hope. She says a cheese sandwich saved her life. So we called her when we saw those posts, and we said, what do you mean by that? And she said that following Hurricane Harvey, just a couple of weeks prior, she had lost her job. Her trees were down everywhere, all over her house. And she was sitting on her front porch at the lowest point of her life. Convoy of Hope truck pulled up. People jumped out, said, hey ma'am, how can we help you? They brought her some water, cheese sandwich, and chainsaws, and they cut down trees in her yard. We later found out that she was, I struggle with this every time. She had a gun in her lap, and she was planning to kill herself. So you never know what a cheese sandwich might do.
Literally saved her life. And I can tell, obviously this is very close to your heart. For 25 years, you were in television news, telling stories from an objective, factual viewpoint, but then you decided to step into the story. Is it her story, or was it another story that captured your heart to do this kind of work?
You know, it was the overall Convoy of Hope story. We covered them. We were in the same town as Convoy of Hope's headquarters, Springfield, Missouri. My wife and I both in news for 15 years, anchoring the news there. So we had covered them. We knew the hearts of the founder and a lot of the people who worked here. We knew what a great organization it was. 4 out of 4-star rating, Charity Navigator, all of that. Forbes number 48 on the list. I could go through the whole list of stuff. So we knew what a great organization it was. And we got the feeling, it was during 2020, so there were racial strife going on, there was COVID going on, just the news was so negative on a daily basis. And we got to the point where we felt like we were, in a weird way, becoming more a part of the problem than the solution. And we wanted to be a part of the solution as best we could as believers. So we started talking with Convoy of Hope, and here we are.
Hey friends out there, it's Chris Tomlin. Hey Joy FM. Just wanted you to know I am with you guys, praying with you, standing with you, thinking of you. I know after this Hurricane Ian and the destruction and devastation, and it's heartbreaking to see what has happened. I know personally I have a friend who's actually on the board of a foundation I'm a part of that lost everything, lost his home, lost his business, lost pretty much everything except the clothes on their back, him and his family and his kids. And I can only imagine the heartbreak that so many people are going through. And I love that the station Joy FM is there in the midst of it and coming around, and especially with this event, Hope After the Hurricane. I just encourage all of you to be a part of that. And just a moment of coming together and loving people and lifting people up. And so just want you to know, from my heart to yours, with you, praying for you. I thought I'd play a little bit of this song. Maybe you remember this one, but I think it's timely. You're the God of this city. You're the King of these people. You're the Lord of this nation. You are. You're the light in the darkness. You're the hope to the hopeless. You're the peace to the restless. You are. And there is no one like our God. There is no one like our God.
You know what this feels like?
What does it feel like?
We want to wish you a happy Thanksgiving morning. We hope you're enjoying the parade. We've got Snoopy. The float is coming through in just a couple of minutes.
And behind that, the inflatable Convoy of Hope truck.
Oh, yeah.
Wow, it's
what
huge.
What about a Convoy of Hope balloon float?
Yeah.
Back to reality. We are actually giving you a chance to help out those that have been impacted by Hurricane Ian. And there's a lot of folks that, even though this might feel like a normal day for you, like I was saying on the air the other day, that news cycles are so crazy. If you think about when the Queen passed away, huge deal. Everybody's talking about news cycles, and then within 2 weeks, stories just go away.
I know.
And I saw it coming with hurricane. It was interesting because we live near the area where the hurricane hit. But when you think about it, it's like, watch the national news cycles. Within 2 weeks, Hurricane Ian will be a story. But yet those people, when we were watching a lot of these videos of people, Fort Myers and all over Southwest Florida that have been impacted, this is not a news cycle story that will be gone in 2 weeks. This is my life has been flipped upside down.
It's unreal. I mean, years of rebuilding ahead, even for the city of Fort Myers. And honestly, I'm really impressed seeing politicians, seeing police officers, people in infrastructure saying our city, the buildings itself, might be what we're working to fix, but our spirit is still here.
Yeah.
This is still paradise. We still love to be here. And that inspires me.
There was a great line, Candace, on the Convoy of Hope website that was one of the locals said, everything beautiful about this area is destroyed except the spirit.
It's so true.
Yeah.
That's huge.
We're asking you to help here during this live stream today. You can text the word Florida to 68828. Text the word Florida to 68828 if you want to help out. You can also go to the you might be watching us from thejoyfm.com, but you can give whatever you can give right from the website here this morning.
Right. We've already had people reach out. I mean, literally the day after the hurricane, we had people reach out saying, what can I do? Where do I go? I mean, even people saying, I have boots and a truck and a chainsaw. Point me in a direction, which is amazing. And we love that spirit. We love that spirit of helping. But I would say that your efforts go further when you give a gift of support to Convoy of Hope. And that's why we have this whole thing set up. That's why JR and I are here at 7:30 in the morning.
Way before that.
Which is not normal for us, but we do believe in what's happening, and we believe in what Convoy of Hope is doing. They are already bringing hope to the area.
We were talking about how the news cycle turns over, but for people, I was reading yesterday about a family that runs a small family farm, and a fourth generation, the McMahon family, and a week. Basically, this week, they would have been harvesting their lettuce crops, which feeds their whole family. And he said, it will take us years to recover from this. Whereas, like, what is it called? Corporate farms, they have so much land, something wasn't hurt. But family farms, it'll take years for them to recover. So there's stories like that. They are out there today, waking up going, all right, what can I do today? Convoy of Hope comes in with their trailers with all the things they need to just have hope for today.
Right.
And that's what you're helping to support today. Text the word Florida to 68828 or thejoyfm.com. Thank you for watching. Thank you for helping.
You can help. Hope after the hurricane on the Joy FM.
It is Dave, Bill, and Carmen, a special edition of the Morning Cruise. We're calling it Hope After the Hurricane, and we're encouraging you to be a part of the event by helping the folks at Convoy of Hope.
If you're listening to us right now and you're someplace you'd like to watch, you can see all of this. We're streaming it all live, all 4 hours, special performances from some of your favorite artists that were given in response to the hurricane specifically, and also some insight on the work of Convoy as we talked to Ethan, the media director for Convoy of Hope. But this is how you can get involved. You can go to thejoyfm.com. There are special ways to direct you to give right there to this effort. Or you can text Florida, the word Florida, to 68828.
We love Convoy of Hope. We've actually partnered with them on things in the past. We trust these guys. If you could see the operation, you would be so impressed with them. And I'm so appreciative of all the artists, all of our artist friends who have helped out this morning. I don't want to lose sight of what the goal of this morning is, and it's to help raise support for those directly impacted, especially in Southwest Florida, those impacted by Hurricane Ian. And I've said it a couple of times this morning, but I want to say it again. I love our Joy FM listening family. Anytime something like this happens, the first thing you say is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? So as a Joy FM listening family, this is what we're doing today to help Convoy of Hope. We love these guys. They do excellent work. You can help two different ways. You can give online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text Florida to 68828. And I really want to call on just our whole listening family, because we have over 1 million weekly listeners to the Joy FM. And I know it's Monday morning and everyone's kind of getting back into the routine from the weekend. But if you could just take a couple of minutes and just give your gift, any amount. You know, we've got some folks who have given $1,000. We actually had someone from Alabama who gave $5,000. So thank you so much. But it's just everybody doing what they can to help a part of our family that's truly hurting. Again, you can give two ways. Text Florida to 68828, or you can go online at thejoyfm.com.
You know how you feel if you're in a room and it's just really, really hot, or you're in your car and it's so hot, and then a window opens and you get that breath of fresh air. That's what hope sometimes feels like. That's what you're doing when you give a gift and participate today. We look for ways to bring hope. And when Convoy of Hope reaches people, as you'll see in some of the footage that we have, sometimes in their driveways, sometimes with the drive up that they've assembled there, First Assembly of God in Fort Myers, that's giving hope. There is a story in the Fort Myers News Press today of a memorial that's been put up right on a beautiful stretch of beach in the Fort Myers area. It's the Wall of Hope Foundation, and it's basically a curtain of bright sunflowers and carnations and crosses with people's names on them, names of folks that have been lost, and folks that have just a connection directly to somebody in that area. It's a way to grieve. It's a way to bring some color and some light back into a very bleak situation. I want you to know, when you give a gift today, that's what you're doing. You're bringing hope as well as immediate relief to the folks in the area most affected by Hurricane Ian.
Now, if you're listening this morning, we want to encourage you. Carmen has already pointed out, you can just text the word Florida, and the number there is 68828. You can also give online at thejoyfm.com. If you're watching the live stream, and Candace and JR are hosting a part of that live stream and doing a fantastic job, any gift you could give is going to be going directly to Convoy of Hope. They are sort of a conduit organization. So when you give to Convoy of Hope, as Bill pointed out last week, and we heard in one of the discussions we've already had with Ethan, that dollar does the equivalent of what you could do with $5. So if you give $1 today, that's like $5 for Convoy of Hope. I mean, they can
buy in bulk, and
it's like multiplying loaves and fishes is what they're doing. So whatever you can give today, we would appreciate it. Again, you can give at thejoyfm.com, or you can text the word Florida to 68828.
One quick example, $1,000 will feed 30 families for an entire day. A gift of $4,500 will feed 20 families for an entire week. But we're just asking you to do whatever you'd like to do. One of the things that we're loving is the fact that so many artists have joined us and said, we want to be part of this. What can we do? And Carmen had an answer for them.
Grab your guitar, give a word of encouragement to our friends that are listening this morning, and sing us one of your songs. And Matthew West, one of our favorites, did just that.
Hey everybody, it's Matthew West here. I just want to let all of the Joy FM listeners know that I'm thinking about you, praying for you. It's been unbelievable seeing the footage and the devastation left from the hurricane, and just want you to know you're not alone. There's a whole lot of people lifting you up, and so the song that came to mind that I wanted to play and dedicate to you guys is an older song of mine, and I'm going to play it on a beat up guitar that was it's weathered some storms. It's from the 1930s, and when I play this guitar and I think of all the years that it's weathered, and there's still a song rising up out of it, I just couldn't help but think about you guys, and that's my prayer for you, that songs of hope will rise out of this difficult time, and that you'll realize where your help comes from. So this is the song I want to dedicate y'all.
I know I'm not strong enough to be everything that I'm supposed to be. I give up, I'm not strong enough. Hands of mercy, won't you cover me? Lord, right now I need you to be strong enough, be strong enough. I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I don't have to be strong enough, strong enough. Oh, I know I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. And I don't have to be strong enough, strong enough.
Praying for y'all. God bless you.
You're listening to Hope After the Hurricane on the Joy FM.
Dave, Bill, and Carmen with a special edition of the Morning Cruise today as we reach out to you and ask you to reach out to the people that were most affected by Hurricane Ian.
We love our Joy FM listening family, and a significant part of our family is hurting. And whenever someone's hurting, we as a family, we come together, we rally, and we help that hurting part of the body. And the way we're asking you to do that this morning is through our partnership with Convoy of Hope, and there's two ways to give. You can go online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text the word Florida to 68828, and we're going to check in with Johanna here in just a couple of minutes. But just loving all the gifts of support, all of the different amounts, whatever you feel the Lord is having you give this morning, we just want to thank you in advance for that.
It's a partnership.
It is.
It really is a partnership. We're partnered with Convoy of Hope, and whenever we talk about supporting, for example, the Joy FM, we always talk in terms of partners and partnership. And the partnership that Convoy is able to establish with the local church and local churches, that's a key to their being able to make a difference in a community. And so one of the first things they do is establish a partnership with the local church. First Assembly of God in Fort Myers is the partner working with Convoy of Hope that allows them to set up their base in the parking lot. They set up tents, they have forklifts, they have a warehouse in a tent. And we talked a little bit with Pastor Russ, who is the pastor there at First Assembly Fort Myers, and he was telling us all about the work that he has done with Convoy. He actually worked with Convoy on their staff for a while. Now he's pastoring the church in Fort Myers, and he told us a story just to give you an idea of what it was like to be there at Ground Zero during the hurricane.
While we were standing here just a moment ago, a rescue helicopter went overhead.
Yes.
So rescues are still going on. You had somebody in your congregation who went through a rescue, who needed rescue.
Yeah, we've had a few of them, but the most dramatic one was our close friends, my wife and I, just people that we got close to in our church. He's my golfing buddy. He's a doctor, and they were on Sanibel, and we were in touch with them when everybody thought it was a Category 3. They said, we've chosen to stay because we're doctors just in case they needed help. But when it went to almost Category 5, everybody was stuck because they said, okay, the winds are above 40 miles an hour, all the bridges are closed, so stay in shelter. So we were very concerned as we were watching live coverage of how bad it was, and the storm just sat over Sanibel and Fort Myers for hours, and that's what caused the exponential devastation. So we were afraid because we'd been to that house, we knew what those storm surge heights would look like, whether they were going to make it or not. The water levels got up to their second story within a few inches, but we hadn't heard from them. We texted, we called, we didn't hear back. It was a long night of praying and waiting. The next morning, I got the worst and best text that I've ever had, which was, we made it, we survived, so we were crying tears of joy. At the same time, they were like, do you know anybody with a boat to rescue us? Because we have no way to get off the island. We can wade through the waters to the shorelines if you could find somebody. So I called the few people I knew that had boats, and they're like, Pastor, our boats are gone. Everything's gone. We don't have boats to even get there. And so I looked up the National Coast Guard number, sent it to them, but literally the National Coast Guard was just flying over and saw him waving a yellow shirt, and they said it was the yellow shirt that caused them to stop. we were able to get together with them and reunite with them here at the church. We laughed, we cried. I was able to loan them a car that belonged to my father, but they had the shirts in their backs. But they were also praising God for safety. They just said, it's just stuff. But their first thing was opening up their practice again because there's not enough medical help because of so many offices closed down. Today they're operational.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Weaver. I'm out on the road with Big Daddy Weave right now, but I heard what our friends from the Joy FM were doing, and they just really want to send wishes of hope and of love and of condolences and all of those things. And we just really want to join in with that to all of the people who have been directly affected by this awful storm, Hurricane Ian. I know how that is. My family dealt with that for years. We lost everything in 2004 in a storm. And so, my heart is just going out to you. And even as you just look at, the devastation and how it looks like, how can we even come back from this? I just want to pray over you. Just hope in the Lord. And I also want to thank our friends and others who are responding to the call to come and to help. If you can help in some way, if you can go and volunteer, if you can send resources, if you can partner with Convoy of Hope, which is making a huge impact in this entire situation, we really want to encourage you to do that, and thank you for doing that if you already have. It's a really important and really awesome opportunity to be the hands and feet of Jesus in this moment, specifically to my friends who have been directly affected though, and maybe you've lost everything, and I know that feeling. How one day everything is normal, and then the next day it's just feels like everything's gone. And I just want to pray over you right now that God's Spirit would just be so real, His presence would just be so real, even there with you, and that this is not the end. This is the beginning. This is a new beginning. And I just wanted to take a chance to sing a song that we've been singing over a lot of people out here on the road, and singing over us even as we've gone through difficult seasons of life. We serve the one and are literally surrounded by the one who makes all things new. Yes.
I've heard you can take what's broken and make it whole again. Well, here's the pieces of my heart. What can you do with them? 'Cause I can't hold them all together anymore. So I let them fall, surrendered to the floor. You make all things new. You make all things new. A God of mercy and love, do what only you can do, and make all things. Listen. From the ashes, from the dust, I will rise up, out of darkness into the light. I will rise up, from the ashes, from the dust. I will rise up, yes you will, out of darkness into the light. I will rise up, you make all things new. You make all things new. A God of mercy and love, what only you can do and make all things make all things new. Oh yes, you do. Do it for my friends, God. In Jesus' name. We love you guys.
The Joy FM and Convoy of Hope present a special live-streamed broadcast with guests and exclusive performances, giving a way for you to help in the recovery and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Ian. This is Hope After the Hurricane.
Dave, Bill, and Carmen here on the Morning Cruise with Hope After the Hurricane. I was texting with Mike Weaver just to let him know the fact that he lost everything in 2004. He knows what it feels like. He knows the importance of what we're doing here this morning. And when he hit that bridge, from the dust, from the ashes, from the dust, I will rise up. That's an important message this morning. And you can help people recover as we partner with Convoy of Hope this morning.
Yes, you can do this online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text Florida to 68828.
I'm praying it's a big morning. I really am. And I don't know, maybe there's 25 folks out there right now that maybe could give $1,000. Bill, you mentioned a couple of minutes ago what $1,000 will do with Convoy of Hope.
Yeah, it'll feed 30 families for a day. So we could feed a lot of families. Don't trust me to do the math, but we could feed a lot of families with 25 folks each doing $1,000
yes, and
right now.
It's very simple. You can go online at thejoyfm.com, give there, or you can text Florida to 68828. And Johanna, I'm going to turn to you because you're monitoring everything for us, and maybe you can give us an update.
Sure, and again, we're hearing from folks all over Locust Grove, Sharksburg. We heard from Lake City and Jacksonville and Canton, Palm Bay. $69,760 so far.
How quickly can we get to $100,000? How quickly can the Joy FM family get to $100,000? I want you to know that we trust the folks at Convoy of Hope. They're a fantastic organization right there on the front lines. They're set up in Fort Myers at First Assembly. Bill and a team went down there this past Tuesday just to see the operation. So all of the money that we raised this morning for Convoy goes directly to those affected by Hurricane Ian, and just asking for your gifts today, whether you're listening online. Also, too, you can stream. If you want to see some of these performances, you can log on to thejoyfm.com, and the live stream is right there.
Now, Bill, we mentioned a couple of times you went down almost as soon as we could actually get south.
Yeah.
You and a team went down to capture some video, talk to the people on the ground. I know what it was like when Carmen and I, after Katrina, went and visited some of the ground zero sites. What was it like for you?
Well, it was kind of crazy as we're driving south and you start to see the signs of destruction, even on the interstate, even on I-75 driving south. You start to see the areas where there was flooding on the interstate and people had to abandon their cars on the side of the road that are still sitting there. You started to see more and more trees and billboards literally just blown away. And then you start to see destruction. And I think the thing that hit us was going over the bridge, going into Fort Myers, you saw a marina where people keep their boats. And it's as if somebody just picked up all the boats and dropped them on top of one another. The building was damaged. The boats were piled on one another. Signs going into Fort Myers of restaurants and businesses blown off. We didn't even get into the most affected areas because most of those areas were reserved for rescue only. So they were continuing to rescue folks, continuing to try to get normal. Now, on the positive side, there were a few signs of life. More traffic lights were working that day than had been working the day before. There was a Publix that was open across the street from the church, which was another sign of people recovering. And there's such a great spirit of folks that are saying, you know what, we're going to come back. We're going to come back and get our feet on the ground
out
and
of the
rebuild.
ashes.
Out of the ashes. We will rise up.
We started talking about this last week, letting folks know that we were going to do this special broadcast event today, Hope After the Hurricane. And I can't tell you the number of listeners who said, I was on the interstate and I saw all of the Convoy of Hope trucks just convoying down the interstate. And when we talked to our friends at Convoy of Hope, they had the trucks loaded up, ready to come south, even before the hurricane even hit. I mean, obviously they knew it was going to hit in Florida, but they had those trucks loaded up, ready to pull out before it even made landfall. So if you're just tuning in, we are raising support this morning to help those affected, those family members of ours that are hurting in Southwest Florida, all over the state really, but particularly down in Southwest Florida. And there's two ways you can help. You can go online at thejoyfm.com, click on Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text the word Florida to 68828, and I'm going to ask for it again. Maybe there's 25 folks. We have 1 million weekly listeners. Are there 25 families right now that maybe you could do $1,000?
And if you do that, would you do us a favor? You can just shoot us a text and let us know what you're thinking this morning, how you're feeling about this. We heard from Jacob and Lena in Gibsonton, Florida, and they gave a gift and said, so grateful. We're able to help some way, somehow, all made possible by God and through the Joy FM. God bless you for your brotherly love. Well, bless you, Jacob. Thank you, Lena, for helping us out as we raise support for Convoy of Hope.
A lot of our artist friends responded immediately, wanting to know how they could help. One of our oldest and dearest friends, who has traveled through the state of Florida and seen some of these areas firsthand, is a guy named Brandon Heath.
Hey, Joy FM listeners, it's Brandon Heath. I'm in Seattle, Washington. Thinking about those of you who live in Central Florida and what you went through just a few weeks ago. Seeing the efforts that are happening already with the cleanup is so encouraging, even though it was a great tragedy. I love how a community, especially a community like Central Florida, comes together and how everybody, all these states come down and we help each other. That's what we do in the U.S. and that's what we do in the South. And I just want you to know that I'm thinking about you in Seattle, Washington today. And I'm continuing to pray for you and the families that have been affected by the Hurricane Ian. And I got a little song for you that hopefully will encourage you in this difficult new season. It's called See Me Through It. Things are getting real. Jesus, take the wheel. Only way I'm getting to the other side. Days are getting dark. Life's a little hard. Finding, but I'm trying not to lose sight. I don't got this. I know you got this. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I believe it before I see it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you're gonna see me through it. If anybody can, you can do it. You gotta know in the trial and the pain, fire in the rain, you're gonna see me through it. You're gonna see me through it. If anybody can, you can do it. And whenever my heart runs away, you say the day you're gonna see me through it. When the sky falls, who am I gonna call? The one who put it up there in the first place. Full scale attack, devil on my back, better lace him up and go put on my game face. I don't got this, I know you got this, yeah, yeah, yeah. And I believe it before I see it, yeah, yeah, yeah. I know you're gonna see me through it. If anybody can, you can do it. You gotta know the trial and the pain, fire in the rain, you're gonna see me through it. You're gonna see me through it. If anybody can, you can do it. And whenever my heart runs away, you say that you're gonna see me through it. 'Cause our God is bigger than all our problems. The only one who knows how to solve them. So if you're sitting in the back, rock bottom, prayers in the air if you got them. Our God is bigger than all our problems. The only one who knows how to solve them. So if you're sitting in the back, rock bottom, prayers in the air, I know you're gonna see me through it. If anybody can, you can do it. You gotta know in the trial and the pain, fire in the rain, you're gonna see me through it. You're gonna see me through it. If anybody can, you can do it. And whenever my heart runs away, you say that you're gonna see me through it. Yeah, 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 I know you're gonna see me through it.
More to come on Hope After the Hurricane on the Joy FM.
And we are back in the studio, Dave, Bill, and Carmen. It's Hope After the Hurricane here on the Joy FM.
If you're just tuning in, that's what we're doing today. We have partnered with our friends at Convoy of Hope, and all of your gifts this morning are going directly to those affected by Hurricane Ian, especially in Southwest Florida, the Fort Myers area, all the Sanibel, all those areas. And you can give two different ways. You can go online at thejoyfm.com and click on Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text Florida to 68828, and maybe you hear a smile in my voice, and that's because we just got a $10,000 gift.
Oh, that's fantastic.
$10,000 gift. So thank you for what you're doing.
And some folks are texting us just to let us know that they're with us in heart and spirit. I love this text. This is Jessica. I live in North Central Florida. They were also affected by the hurricane.
Yes.
The eye was supposed to come directly across us. We were ready, and it shifted. I'm so thankful my area was spared, but my heart deeply aches for the devastation they're experiencing down south. I'm giving in hopes that the Lord would multiply it to bring hope.
Yes.
Thank you for what you're doing.
Yes, and amen. And I will say that too, because I live in Tampa, North Tampa, and it's one of those things, two things can be true at once, and you can have mixed emotions. And I still have mixed emotions. You're so devastated for the folks south of us, because so many have just lost everything, and even in the heartland, and you're so grateful, that you didn't have damages where you are. But then there's a part of you that honestly has survivor's guilt, and with things like hurricanes, you don't know what makes them turn where they turn. But if you're in a place where, like me, we were spared, could you make a gift today to Convoy of Hope? Text Florida to 68828, or go online at thejoyfm.com, and let's help the folks that have been impacted.
One of our friends that spends quite a bit of time visiting in the area that was hit is Danny Gokey. He's actually coming down. He's bringing I think it's the Jesus People Tour in November, is going to be in our area, just north of the area that was affected, as a matter of fact. But Danny also wanted to chime in and send a little encouragement to our friends here on the Joy FM.
Hey, Joy FM family, Danny Gokey here, and just wanted to give you guys a little hope after the hurricane, because I know so many people have been affected. We live in Tennessee, and, sometimes from the distance, it feels helpless, like what can we do? But here's what I know, prayer works, and also encouragement works. The Bible says this, it's be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, would guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. That's what I know. If right now you're feeling anxious and you've been affected by this, or your family affected by this, or you're someone who's working in the middle of it, trying to repair and trying to bridge the gap with all the damage that's been done, cast your cares on the Lord, be anxious for nothing, and know that God is on your side, and just like Nehemiah, he can help you rebuild the walls. I want to thank Convoy of Hope for all the work that you're doing down there in Florida, and also the Joy FM family for keeping people encouraged. I got a song that I wanted to share with you. It's right along the lines of it's called Peace. If you're in a hospital, if you're facing the impossible, God can give you peace. Know this, you're in our prayers, and the best is yet to come. Rebuild and watch what God can do.
Anybody out there got some troubles? Anybody out there got some heartache? Me too. Just when you think it can't get any worse, somehow it gets worse. But my friend, hold on, when it feels like I might have a breakdown. I got a friend closer than a brother, say lay down your burdens, your heartache, your hurting. It may not make sense, but here in this mess, I have peace. I have peace. Peace that surpasses understanding. I know life's out of my hands, but I'll make it through, 'cause I got you. When my world's in 1,000 pieces, Jesus, you're the only reason I have peace. Let me go a little further, I'm about to break it down. Every life has two choices, yeah, you can let go, or you can control. I chose to let go, now deep in my soul, I have peace. I have peace. listen, take it all away, there's one thing I'm not losing. I feel the wave of your presence wash over my soul, and I know, yes, I know I have peace. Peace that surpasses understanding. I know life's out of my hands, but I'll make it through. I'll make it through, 'cause I got you. When my world's in a thousand pieces, Jesus, you're the only reason I have peace. I have peace.
Well, we hope you're enjoying the live stream. I am JR. This is my friend Candace.
Oh, friend?
Yes.
Oh,
Let's
thanks.
declare it. Yeah, you can help us out today as we're partnering with Convoy of Hope to help those that have been impacted by Hurricane Ian. You can text the word, I almost said give.
Nope.
Text the word Florida.
Florida. That's where we're at.
Yeah, to 68828. Whatever you can give, we appreciate it so much. You can also give at thejoyfm.com, where many are watching the stream.
Right. Yeah. Or on Facebook. If you're there, just hop over to thejoyfm.com and you can give your gift of support to Convoy of Hope.
Check this out.
Uh-oh. We needed to remember what to say because we are so used to saying text the word give to our normal number. But Florida to, let me see, 68828. 68828. Pay attention to the words I'm saying. And no, it's been really incredible. I'm honestly impressed with how many people gave a gift of support before this morning. People who are just chomping at the bit to give, to make a difference, to help in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, and so many, we were talking earlier that for a lot of us, like Candace, we were talking like driving to the station, you might see a tree down. It's like, oh, that's right, a massive hurricane just came through. But if you didn't get hit directly, it's sort of out of mind. But then as we were preparing for Hope After the Hurricane today, we start diving into these stories, and it's like we can drive 1 hour south, and people have lost everything. That's why Convoy of Hope is down there. You read...
this story hit me. Okay. Now, I shared a couple months ago that I'm expecting. So
Congratulations. Oh, my gosh.
Thank you. So it was not a big breakfast this morning. There's a baby. And...
Mine's a big breakfast.
Hitch just shared this story with me, and I said, you can't give this to me. I'm going to cry. I'm going to cry. Okay, so Kate and David, they're having their first child, or so they think, until they go to the ultrasound and hear that it's three babies that they're expecting. And just about a month ago, all three babies safely made it into this world. And they're little, they're triplets. They all got to share a lot of space in there. And so literally ranging from 2 pounds, can you even imagine? 2 pounds to 4 pounds. And then the hurricane hit. And where are they? Fort Myers.
Oh.
And so thank God the hospital itself was safe. But then because of the storm surge, because of the flooding afterwards, the water wasn't good for the patients anymore. So they had to evacuate, and they couldn't bring mom and dad in the helicopter with the tiny babies, which I cannot fathom. Absolutely cannot fathom watching your teeny tiny babies go hours away without you. So they were able to kind of follow them and make it there safely. But the trauma that has been inflicted on so many different families goes towards what you're helping when you give a gift to Convoy of Hope. Any sort of relief necessary is what they are specializing in.
Yep, we're going to talk more about what exactly they're doing down in those impacted areas coming up in just a bit. We hope you're enjoying the live stream, and we appreciate the help this morning. You can text the word Florida to 68828. Thank you so much for helping.
Thank you.
You're listening to Hope After the Hurricane on the Joy FM.
Hope After the Hurricane. We are teaming up with the folks at Convoy of Hope and asking you to give your gifts of support this morning so that we can help the people who were hardest hit by Hurricane Ian.
This is a special broadcast this morning of the Morning Cruise. We've got a great live stream happening right now. If you're listening, you can also watch, and you can give at thejoyfm.com. You'll find directions there. You can also text the word Florida to 68828.
Hurricane Ian was the 5th largest storm ever to hit the U.S., and a lot of the meteorologists have talked about how they look at 3 different things in terms of destruction. And typically with the hurricane, you have 2 out of 3. With Ian, it was all 3. It was the wind, it was the flooding, and it was the storm surge, and just complete devastation. So this morning, our efforts and our hearts are focused on our family south of us, south of our listening area, probably our southernmost listening area. And we're just asking you to help us support Convoy of Hope. Probably the best way to describe Convoy is they are a conduit. The money that we're raising today comes in, it goes through Convoy, and it's going directly to those impacted by Hurricane Ian. And there's 2 different ways that you can help. You can go online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text the word Florida to 68828. And we're hearing from some of our listeners who have done just that.
Yeah, and they're sharing hope. And I love texts like this. This is from a family listening. He says, my wife, Kimberly, and I were discussing where to send money to help. And I turned on the Joy FM and heard about Convoy of Hope, and we gave what we could.
Awesome.
$500.
That is, any gift of support will help. And what's so great about the Joy FM listening family is everyone's always saying, what can we do? What can we do? We have over 1 million weekly listeners. So whether you can give $25 or $50 or $500 that sweet family just did, or maybe you could give $1,000. I'd mentioned a little bit earlier, if we could have 25 folks give $1,000, I mean, that'd be $25,000. I'm not good at math, but I can figure that one out.
Those are nice, easy numbers.
Yes,
Rounded
yes.
numbers, yes.
All right, we're going to hear from our friend Zach in just a couple of minutes. But Johanna, do you want to give us a quick update really fast?
Yeah, and we're hearing from folks all over, from as far away as Jamestown, North Dakota.
Wow.
And Perth Amboy, New Jersey.
Oh, my goodness.
And Georgia, Florida, Alabama, over $93,000 so far.
Y'all, we're $7,000 away from $100,000. And again, all of this money going directly to Convoy of Hope to help those impacted most by Hurricane Ian. So would you help us this morning? You can go online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text Florida to 68828.
Our friend Zach Williams has a little encouragement for you this morning.
Hey, what's up, guys? Zach Williams here, and I've got my band, and we are backstage in Phoenix, Arizona this afternoon, getting ready to play a show tonight. And we just thought we would send you guys a song, maybe a little encouragement. We are just saddened by the devastation that Florida took last week with Hurricane Ian, and we wanted to send you guys a song and maybe lift your spirits and just let you know that we're praying for you and that God loves you and we love you. And this song's called Heart of God.
Take off your disguise, and whoever told you ain't worth fighting. The cross tells a story how to change your mind, and there's only love in the heart of God. No room for shame in His open. There's beauty from ashes, so come as you are. And there's only love in the heart of God. Come prodigal children, it's never too late to run home to the Father. Let Him clothe you with grace and bury your burdens and break free from
you guys.
Giving you a way to help in the recovery and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Ian. This is Hope After the Hurricane.
Dave, Bill, and Carmen here at the Joy FM with Hope After the Hurricane this morning.
There's a couple of ways that you can help this morning. You can log on to thejoyfm.com, click on Hope After the Hurricane, and give right there. And so many of you are doing that. We're actually closing in on $100,000 raised this morning. I hope we double that before the day is done. Or you can text the word Florida to 68828.
Yeah, we want to just say once again that every dollar that you give goes directly to Convoy of Hope with over a million weekly listeners.
Yeah.
Just everybody doing something will help so much today. You know, we're giving comfort. We're giving hope.
Yeah.
And Paul wrote this to the church at Corinth. He says, all praise to God, the Father of our Lord Jesus Christ. God is our merciful Father and the source of all comfort. If there is comfort in this world, it ultimately comes from God. He wrote in verse 4, He comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others. When they are troubled, we'll be able to give them the same comfort God has given us. And that's what we're doing. Most of the folks that are listening to this broadcast or watching it this morning are in a place where they weren't deeply affected by the hurricane. We know we have some folks listening in that area. In fact, when I was driving to Fort Myers the other day, I was listening to the Joy FM. I think we were on reduced power. Our signal was still kicking into North Fort Myers. And I thought this radio station is more important than ever for that very purpose, for giving comfort. Not only in what we do every day by helping people find joy, but in an effort like this, where we're helping with Convoy of Hope and partnering with them to bring relief.
One of the things Bill did when he went down there was meet with the folks from Convoy of Hope, including Ethan.
This is where the action is happening right behind us. And today, at this moment, is not a distribution point. If you would see the distribution that happens here as hundreds of people drive up in their cars and receive direct donations that will help them in this relief effort. But what's going on behind us now?
These are some great volunteers from the area who came out to just be the muscle for Convoy of Hope. That's something that Convoy of Hope does a lot, is we utilize volunteers. That helps us maintain that 4 out of 4 star rating. Because we don't have to spend money on an army to bring them down here. We bring people down to manage and supply the distribution. And then the church calls on their army of volunteers, so that then when the distribution happens, they're literally handing out supply to their neighbor. It's the church being the church.
Yes.
And then eventually, when Convoy of Hope pulls out of here, when everybody's back on their feet, the church is still there to minister to people's spiritual needs.
It's a real partnership.
Yeah.
And the thing that I do love about this too, one of the misconceptions people have about caring is that you can come into a situation, be there for a couple days, do some good things and leave. And that oftentimes creates another problem on top of a problem. But Convoy has a deeper commitment than that when they move into an area like this.
Well, you know, the TV cameras are going to leave. The news focus is going to be off of this disaster probably pretty quickly, because that's just the nature of the news business today, sadly. But the need is still there.
Yes.
And Convoy of Hope is still there. Just for example, we're still responding to Hurricane Ida, which is now 13 months ago, something like that, down in Louisiana. There's still people there who need help, and we're down there on a regular basis offering help.
That's amazing. We at the Joy FM believe in this organization. We believe in what you're doing. We want our listeners to respond today during Hope After the Hurricane. So I'm going to ask you to talk directly to our listeners and viewers today and ask them to be part of this important effort.
Well, first of all, thank you for watching this. Thank you for supporting the Joy FM. They do great work. We're thankful for you allowing Convoy to be featured. The number one thing I think that we would ask you at Convoy of Hope to do would be to pray for us. Pray for our leadership in making decisions. Pray for strength and endurance for our workers who are down under this Florida sun for weeks at a time, working 16-hour days. For our volunteers like this who are out there sweating as they work to help us, and for favor in just getting our product to the right places, to the right people who need it, and that we would be able to make a true spiritual impact on their lives as we give them tangible things like water and canned goods. The other thing that we would ask you to do is donate if you can. Convoy of Hope is a 4 out of 4 star rated charity on Charity Navigator. We're able to take that dollar, as we were talking about, and stretch it at least 5 times further than you'd be able to on your own. You can know that we're good stewards with what you give give us, more than 91 cents of every dollar goes where the donor wants it to go. And then finally, I would say advocate. That's free. It doesn't cost anybody anything. Everybody's on social media these days. Convoy of Hope is on social media. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We're on Twitter. We would love for you to like us and then share your posts. You don't know who that might reach that may be looking for some organization to support during this disaster or maybe one down the road. And you could be the introduction to Convoy of Hope.
And today, during Hope After the Hurricane, it's real simple to be involved. Go to thejoyfm.com. Right there on the top, you'll see those sliders. And there are a couple of them dedicated to this effort. Hope After the Hurricane, give to Convoy of Hope, and help us out with this important effort today. It is making a difference here in Fort Myers. Ethan, thanks again, brother.
Bill, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're listening to Hope After the Hurricane on the Joy FM.
Hope After the Hurricane. Dave, Bill, and Karma with a special edition of the Morning Cruise today.
Thank you for what you're doing. There's two ways that you can help this morning. You can go online at thejoyfm.com, click on Hope After the Hurricane. It's a big box right there that you can't miss. And also, if you want to stream and see some of the live performances that our artist friends are doing, or if you want to take a peek inside the studio, you can do that as well. And you can also text the word Florida to 68828. And I want to check in with Johanna because I think we've passed a milestone. Huh?
We have. We've heard from Bradenton and Bremen. We've heard from Ames, Iowa, and Palmetto, Florida, Dothan, Alabama, Carrollton, Georgia. $103,500.
Yay. Now we just have to double that. And I'm still looking for 25 folks that maybe could give $1,000 or whatever you could give. It's the Joy FM listening family coming together. And we really prayed about this. We trust the folks at Convoy of Hope. And honestly, the money that we give to them can go so much further than if we were doing this on our own.
Got just less than 2 hours to see just how much we can raise for Convoy of Hope to help the people that were hardest hit. We've had people saying, what about dropping off donations at the station? You know what? We don't have the infrastructure. Convoy of Hope does. So we would just encourage you this morning, give what you can there. You just heard Ethan talk about the fact that they can do so much more with the resources that we can. So if you could give through them or give to them today, that'd be fantastic. The other thing you mentioned was social media. If you're watching today on Facebook Live, go ahead and share that. Tell your friends on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook that they can tune in, or they can go to thejoyfm.com. They can watch the live stream, see the performances, and perhaps they'll be moved to give as well.
It's all of us working together. It's Convoy of Hope. It's folks like you giving their best. And again, you can give online at thejoyfm.com or text Florida to 68828. Some of the partnerships that are encouraging you to give are with some of our artist friends, including Joel and Luke for King and Country.
Greetings to you, Joy FM. It's Luke here with For King and Country, and obviously we all have heard about Hurricane Ian and the destruction that has taken place in Florida. And Joy FM is doing something amazing. That is, they're partnering with Convoy of Hope. And so if you'd like to give and just support for Floridians and support Florida, go to thejoyfm.com. But as a way just to cheer you up a little bit, here is a song of ours called Love Me Like That.
I am a little unstable, loose wires always getting tangled now. I am a little bit difficult, I can be a little self-critical now. No, I am a little unable to put all my cards on the table now. But somehow you're still with me. It's amazing that you care. Love me like I am. And even when I can't, you still love me as I am. Oh, I don't know how you do it, and I know I put you through it. Yeah, it's amazing that you care. Love me like I am. Oh, you love me like I am. Oh, you love me like I am.
Would you help me welcome to the stage Jordan Sparks?
I am a little uneven, in need of a little more healing.
Yes, I am. Oh, and I feel a little unfixable, but you're nothing short of a miracle now. But somehow you're still with me. It's amazing that you care. Love me like I am. And even when I can't, you still love me as I am. Oh, I don't know how you do it, and I know I put you through it. Yeah, it's amazing that you can love me like I, love me like I. You love me like I. You love me like I. You love me like I.
All right, family, we're going to let that truth sink deep into our souls. I'm going to sing You Love Me. You sing Am, just like this. Here we go.
You love me like I.
You got more in you. Come on, San Diego.
You love me like I.
All the ladies with Jordan, sing it out.
You love me like I.
And the fellas with Luke. Come on, what you got, Luke?
'Cause you love me like I.
All together, loud and proud, let me hear you.
You love me like I. Oh, you love me like I. You love me like I. It's amazing that you can love me like I am. And even when I can't, you still love me as I am. Oh, I don't know how you do it, and I know I put you through it. It's amazing that you can love me like I, love me like I am.
Welcome to the live stream. The joy. Look at my cup.
Aw, snuggle bear.
Yeah. We are teaming up this morning on the air and on the live stream to raise as much as we can for Convoy of Hope to help people who have been impacted by Hurricane Ian. A couple of ways you can give this morning, Candace.
Well, you can first text Florida to 68828 if that's one way to give. Otherwise, you can go to thejoyfm.com. You can give there. We're doing this all online. So this is different than Share-a-thon, which was just a couple weeks ago, in that we are giving directly to Convoy of Hope. So the Joy FM, right now, we are just the conduit to make sure you know what's available. You know what ways you can be supportive. And we would really love to support as many people as possible. And you can know that we have vetted the Convoy of Hope. They are super reliable, incredible, with boots on the ground, and 91 cents to every single dollar goes directly to the people who they're helping. So you can know that your money is staying in Florida and is helping those affected by Hurricane Ian. Thank you so much for giving right now.
As we were preparing for this, there's just so many stories, so many things you don't hear about, like on the news or anything like that. And that's when it started impacting me, was when you get into the real stories of real human beings. That we were talking about this before we went live on the stream, that this hurricane was supposed to go to the Panhandle. There's an island off the coast of Cape Coral called Pine Island. I think it's the biggest island off the coast of any part of Florida. And there's a lot of people in their 70s, 80s that live on Pine Island. And when you think of a hurricane going to the Panhandle, and then all of a sudden you have less than 48 hours now to make a decision, and you're in your 70s or 80s, and you've lived on this island for many, many years, and all of a sudden, yeah, you have a chance to leave it, but not everybody can. And so, sure enough, when Ian came through and crushed Pine Island, the Convoy of Hope posted a video on their website that just rocked me. The surface of Pine Island was 8 feet below the surface of the ocean.
Oh, my word.
So you think 8 feet of ocean. Now, covering
about
Pine Island.
To your ceiling
Yeah.
in your house. That's exactly how high that is.
Yep. And so there was a video. There was a pastor that named Randy that was going from house to house with the Convoy volunteers, and they had hygiene kits, packages of food that you don't need to cook or anything, 16 meals in the box, water, and they were going house to house. And what was cool to me is they would say, hey, the people would be like, no, I have enough to make it through the next day. And they're like, no, just take this. We are here.
Right.
And loving it, this is the thought that came to me as I was watching this video, that loving and serving people takes a giant fluorescent highlighter to the gospel message. You could walk in and share the gospel with somebody, but when you walk in and serve and love people, it just highlights this is what the gospel is all about. There's nothing in it for us. Convoy does that. And they go, this is actually their 31st disaster they've gone into this year. So this is what they do, and you can help support it here this morning by texting the word Florida to 68828 or give right at thejoyfm.com. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you.
The Joy FM and Convoy of Hope present a special live-streamed broadcast with guests and exclusive performances, giving a way for you to help in the recovery and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Ian. This is Hope After the Hurricane.
About an hour and a half left to be involved in this particular effort this morning as we partner with the guys from Convoy of Hope.
And we're hearing from folks all over our listening area in Alabama, in Georgia, and Florida who are giving gifts. I just had 2 gifts to give you an idea of the response this morning. Here is a sweet woman who is listening to us this morning and says, I just was able to give $50, and I'm praying over our beloved neighbors in Southwest Florida. And then just before her, we had a Messianic rabbi in Georgia who said, I'm going to see what maybe our congregation will do, gave $1,000 himself. And so that could be multiplied with the partnership today with their Sukkot service. And so we're thankful for the folks that are giving far and wide and right in the areas that were affected. We've even heard from folks in Charlotte County this morning, folks who went through the hurricane and who took the brunt of this. And the work that Convoy of Hope is doing is directly helping with relief for folks in the hardest hit area. We know that there have been folks affected in Central Florida, on the east coast of Florida, definitely the heartland, Mayaca City, Arcadia, folks on farms there. And then we have folks that are further south. That's where Convoy's set up at First Assembly of God in Fort Myers.
There's 2 ways you can help this morning. You can go online at thejoyfm.com, or probably the easiest way to do these days is text to give, and you text the word Florida to 68828. And I've shared a couple of the stories this morning, just all the stories that that have come out after the hurricane. And I told the story a little bit earlier of Matt Oakley. He and his wife Trish, they live on Fort Myers Beach. This was in the Fort Myers News Press. And, you know, Hurricane Ian, they thought it was headed towards Tampa in the beginning, and it made that hard right and hit Sanibel in that area. But Matt was talking about how he was talking to his neighbor that afternoon, especially when they saw that the hurricane was making the turn. And just the story that he shared, I don't know the neighbor's name, but they're texting back and forth. They're in their homes. Matt's looking out the window, and he literally, when the storm surge came, he sees his car just start floating. Literally, I mean, his road, the street to his house, became a river. He saw his car float away. He's calling, texting his neighbor, and his neighbor's like, the water's coming, like it's up to our waist. And he said, I don't know what to do. He said, get on the kitchen counter. So he and his wife got on the kitchen counter, and then he texted him back and said, it's still rising. He goes, get upstairs. So they went to the 2nd floor, and the water was the storm surge. You just cannot even imagine having a 2-story house and the storm surge coming up to the 2nd story. And so he and his wife, the neighbors, they got into the attic, and Matt said, use whatever you can find. Find something hard, find, whatever you can find in the attic, and you have to punch through the roof. And so Matt said he and his wife, Trish, were literally staring out the window from their house and just almost holding their breath going, because, I mean, the water was just rising. And he said, punch through the roof. And he said that they were just sitting there watching, and then finally, they saw a hole come through the roof, and they were able to get out on the roof and be rescued. And it's just stories like that. There was another sweet lady. I don't remember her name, but she was a nurse who was down in the same area, and she said a 99-cent candle, a battery-operated candle, she was able to hold outside the window, one of her windows, and she called it her hero neighbor is the one that saw the candle that was able to come over and help her. And Michelle, we've asked Michelle to come in and join us this morning. And Michelle, you live in the heartland, and you've lost power. So from your vantage point, tell us a little bit.
You know, as a native Floridian, I have never been through anything like this.
Mm-hmm.
The wind was unrelenting, you know, and to sit there in the dark. We just got power day before yesterday. It was so nice to take a shower because you fill up your bathtub full of water and you have to flush the toilet with the water from your bathtub because you have a well.
Especially in the heartland, right? Because when power goes out, you can't get water out of the well.
Yep. It was definitely an adventure. And then just sit there in the dark and turn the flashlight on and go, oh, there's a leak in that. Oh, there's a leak over there.
Yeah.
But for our dear friends, you know, out east, dealing with bridges out. And I know Dakin Dairy, we love those folks. They've lost over 250 cows. We did so many homeschool field trips out there, and they're a wonderful dairy. And just the loss. There's so much. So I'm so grateful for our generous listening friends today because so many of us go, I want to do more. How can I help? What can I do?
Yeah.
And you can text Florida, the word Florida, to 68828. You know, we have friends in Charlotte County. We were down there a few times now. And just to hear the trauma, so many have lost roofs, so many have lost power, friends canoeing in their front yard, you know, and they don't have waterfront property. You know?
Exactly.
And just to hear the rescue stories and the God stories of deliverance in the midst of that. So many are recognizing that. So again, thank you for what you're doing today. And we love Convoy of Hope. And Bill, I'm so glad you had the chance to connect with them.
Yeah, this has been such a great partnership, and we're so thankful for what you're doing today. And the partnership extends to Convoy of Hope, to you, our listeners, as you're responding, and to several of our artists.
Like Hope Darst.
Hey everyone, I'm Hope Darst, and I wanted to reach out to all of you at the Joy FM family and just say that our prayers are with you during this difficult time. I'm so sorry for what you're walking through with the hurricane damage and devastation. My family is from Louisiana, and we have walked through many seasons of hurricanes. My dad has been one of the first people to get on the ground and help get tarps on roofs and remove trees and brought food and water to people. And I know this is a really difficult time for those of you that have lost homes and job right now. You're out of work and just all of the things. Maybe you don't even have power, I don't know. But I just want to say I'm so sorry for what you're walking through. But I also know that we have a God who really cares, and he sees the seasons that we walk through, especially the storms that we walk through, and he's with you even right now. This is one moment. This is a snapshot in time. This will not be your forever. And I want to remind you of a scripture in Peter where God says, 1 Peter 5:10, and after you have suffered a little while, the God of all grace, who has called you to his eternal glory in Christ, he will himself restore, confirm, strengthen, and establish you. I know that God is in this moment, even if it feels hard and scary, and he will restore you. He will rebuild you. And I'm grateful for Joy FM and Convoy of Hope putting together hurricane relief to help rebuild and restore your communities, your lives, all the things that you're facing right now. And we're just going to sing a song for you, and we hope that it just gives you a minute to remind yourself that even right now in this storm, God is speaking peace over you and over your situation, because his promise is peace.
I don't want to be afraid every time I face the waves. No, I don't want to be afraid. I don't want to be afraid. And I don't want to fear the storm just because I hear it roar. No, I don't want to fear the storm. I don't want to fear the storm. Peace be still, say the word, and I will set my feet upon the sea till I'm dancing in the deep. Peace be still, you are here. gonna be afraid, 'cause these waves are only waves. No, I'm not gonna be afraid. I'm not gonna be afraid. And I'm not gonna fear the storm. You are greater than its roar. No, I'm not gonna fear the storm. No, I'm not gonna fear it all. Peace, be still, say the word, and I will set my feet upon the sea till I'm dancing in the deep. Peace, be still, you are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, oh, I will trust the voice that speaks. Peace, peace over So let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Let it rise, and let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Oh, let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Oh, let faith rise up, oh heart, believe. Let faith rise up in me. Oh, peace, be still, say the word, and I will set my feet upon the sea, till I'm dancing in the deep. Oh, peace, be still, you are here, so it is well. Even when my eyes can't see, oh, I will trust the voice that speaks. Peace over there. I hear you speaking peace. Peace over me.
Giving you a way to help in the recovery and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Ian. This is Hope After the Hurricane.
Dave, Bill, and Carmen here at the Joy FM. It's Hope After the Hurricane. We've heard from a lot of our artist friends already. You can see the videos if you are streaming off of our website at thejoyfm.com. Also, Facebook Live. If you go there, we've still got Apollo LTD coming up. We'll hear from Blanca. We Are Messengers. Just a few of the artists that we'll be hearing from soon.
And we would love for you to get involved and just give whatever you can to help us in working with Convoy of Hope today. You can do that at thejoyfm.com, or you can text the word Florida to 68828.
And thank you for what you're doing. We're going to check in with Johanna here in just a little bit, our director of support. But just thank you for your generosity. I've said it quite a few times this morning. I'm just going to say it again. The hurricane, it wasn't even 24 hours after it had moved on out of our listening area that folks started texting and emailing and calling and saying, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? And today is the answer for that. Convoy of Hope, we love these folks. We trust them. They're boots on the ground. They're down there right now with the huge tent, and I hate to even call it a tent because it's so much bigger than that. It is a full-on distribution center.
You're going to hear from Ethan in just a minute firsthand and see inside that tent if you're streaming. This is the best way we can help.
It is.
It truly is. They will stretch the dollars so much farther than we could do on our own.
And that's the thing, just getting down kind of to the brass tacks of it. We could have done stops where we would have people bring supplies, but they are set up and they do this on a scale that is just so much bigger than we are. The best thing that we can do is get the message out and ask our listening family to just come around Convoy of Hope and let's support them. Again, you can text Florida to 68828. And Michelle, you've joined us this morning, and I see you've got your Bible here. I don't know if you want to share some scripture with us or if there's a story you'd like to tell, but just want to talk with you.
I would love to.
Yeah.
I just was reading the Psalms this morning, and I was thinking about our generous listeners and what God's doing this morning through Convoy of Hope and the Joy FM. And I will sing of your strength. I'll sing aloud of your steadfast love in the morning. For you have been to me a fortress, a refuge in the day of my distress. O my strength, I'll sing praises to you. For you, O God, are my fortress, the God who shows me steadfast love. And I tell you, a couple days ago, I had the privilege of being with some friends in Charlotte County. We have a worship ministry center coffee shop that we just opened in August. And we had about 75 of us, and friends from the north brought dinner and groceries, and just to hear the stories where they're recognizing my roof is gone. There's 11 of us, pregnant mama, baby. They're all living in the house with the roof gone in part of their house. But recognizing the supernatural protection of God over their lives. And a few of them began to cry, and just to see people come up around them and embrace them and just be praying about the trauma, because a lot of people have really, through this, walk through real PTSD or trauma in this too. That's why I love Convoy of Hope, and the fact that they're there not only to offer the physical things, but the spiritual, the prayer and the encouragement, and partnering with the local churches. Haven't you seen that? Isn't that beautiful? Every gas station you go to right now, you catch a conversation with somebody who's filling a gas can, and you get a chance to pray with people. It's just really a beautiful thing to see the outpouring of the body of Christ come together. And so we just want to say thank you for what you're doing today. You're making a difference. You can text the word Florida to 68828, or you can go to thejoyfm.com.
Last week we sent Bill down to see exactly what Convoy of Hope is doing. Partly because we wanted to know, and partly because we wanted to be able to show you exactly what we're trying to talk to you about today. The thing that you're giving to, the people that are boots on the ground, and Bill sat down with Ian.
It's my perception that there are three parts to responding to a crisis like this, and the first is rescue, and that's still going on here in Fort Myers along the beaches. Then there's the at the end part, you have the restoration phase, which is trying to get back to normal. But this is the relief part of the effort that Convoy of Hope is leading here in Fort Myers. And Ethan, I wanted just to ask you to explain, why is it that giving to an organization like Convoy of Hope can often be more effective than loading up the truck and driving south?
Well, because we have that infrastructure and we have the relationships in place. And when I say relationships, I mean with the churches where we land and are able to set up and get the supply to where it's needed, because they are our eyes and ears on the ground. But beyond that, the relationships with corporations who donate a lot of the product that you see around this makeshift warehouse. 98% roughly of what Convoy gets is donated product. And that's because corporations trust us to be good stewards with what they give us. They know that it's going to be used properly. So we're able to have that on hand and then get it to a site like this when the time comes.
For example, I can buy a bottle of water and bring it down, but if I put that same buying power in the hands of Convoy, you can multiply that.
Absolutely, 5 times.
That's amazing.
And we can get it there.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. We can take your dollar, stretch it so much further than you would be able to do on your own. And I know a lot of people, sometimes they feel like they're not doing enough.
Right.
But when you give money, it is doing enough, because we have the things in place, the mechanisms to make that dollar expand and stretch.
Hard question before I get you to show me around. So about how much of every dollar stays in the specific direct relief efforts that you guys are working on?
Last year, more than 91 cents of every dollar went where the donor wanted it to go.
That's amazing.
Well, that's hard work.
Yes.
But it's something that we take very seriously and we're very proud of.
Yeah.
Charity Navigator, you can look this up. Charity Navigator has rated us a top 4 out of 4-star charity when it comes to financial integrity for the last 18 straight years.
That's amazing.
That's tough to do, but we've done it, and now that we have that, we work hard to maintain it because you don't want to lose it.
When Dave and Carmen traveled to Biloxi, and they were looking around after Katrina came in, they were amazed at the well-intentioned efforts of people that actually were wasted, and how much it's important to have an infrastructure like you're describing in order to really get the aid where it needs to go. So will you walk me around and just show me some of the stuff that's in here and give people a sense of this operation?
You bet. We can maybe start here. This is boxed milk, 2% milk. A lot of this is baby supplies for kids because kids need, what is this, baby food right here, Gerber baby food. We have wipes, we have diapers, we have everything that young families need to take care of their kids whenever you plan maybe for a few days without power, but you haven't planned for more than a week or so without power. Right. We have toilet paper, all the things that people are going to need. We have totes there so that they can save their valuables. They can put things in them that they're, if their house was messed up badly, they can just gather the stuff. Canned goods, of course, peanut butter. We have boxes. Paul's over there moving boxes of groceries that we've already bagged up. These are just the basic necessities that people need to get going from today into tomorrow and feel that hope that we were talking about.
And I noticed you even have generators here.
We do.
And you brought forklifts with you to move this stuff around. It's a working warehouse here in a tent.
It really is. This tent we had set up, we do this every time we're on a major disaster, so that we can work in and out of this warehouse. It protects the items and it allows us to keep them confined. But yeah, we bring down on those 16, 17 vehicles that we drive down in on the convoy. We have those hand carts, we have forklifts, we have everything. Because when we get into a town, there's a big chance that everything's destroyed that we would use. So, and if it's not destroyed, the people who own it are going to need it. So we bring everything so that we're not a drain on the community.
Yeah. One more angle that I'd like to get as I'm talking to you today. Let's go out in the parking lot and let's experience what it's like to be part of the effort of actually reaching people, touching them with the supplies that they need so that they feel that sense of hope.
Right.
Hope after the hurricane on the Joy FM.
It's the morning cruise, Dave, Bill, and Carmen, and a whole bunch of people helping us out this morning for Hope after the hurricane.
Yes, thank you for what you're doing. We are partnering with Convoy of Hope, and we've set aside this whole morning to just raise support for Convoy of Hope. That's who we've partnered with. It's who we trust. As a matter of fact, they had their 18-wheelers, a convoy of 18-wheelers, loaded up, ready to come even before Hurricane Ian made landfall to Florida. And I got to tell you, there's nothing more emotional than being on the interstate and seeing all the power trucks driving south, seeing the Convoy of Hope trucks. It's almost like the what would you call it? The Calgary? What is it?
Cavalry.
The cavalry, yes.
Calgary is a place in Alberta, in Canada.
The cavalry is coming. I don't even know if that's a good analogy or not, but it does feel like hope is coming to us when you see those 18-wheelers just rolling down the interstate. You got to have at least one Carmenism this morning. Here's how you can help this morning. You can go to thejoyfm.com and click on Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text the word Florida to 68828.
Carmen, if you had been with me last week in Fort Myers, just the heart of the people there. I was talking to Ethan, and he's a news guy. He's used to keeping it together. At one point, he broke up, telling us a story of how a woman's life was literally saved by a cheese sandwich. You just don't realize the little ways that your dollars can go to not only help people recover, but just imagine you're feeling hopeless.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? And somebody pulls by with a truck and says, here's some food to feed your family tonight.
Yeah.
Here's some relief supplies to clean. Here's something for your baby. You're wondering, where in the world, how am I going to get formula, whatever? And they show up. And then they stay. They're not just there to blow in and blow out. They're there weeks on end helping people at their point of need. That's what your dollars today are doing through Convoy of Hope.
And I want you to hear, we really prayed. We prayed to see what our support would look like. And we just love the folks at Convoy of Hope. We believe in them, and they are built for this. They are absolutely built for this. So I want to turn to Johanna. And Johanna, I want to get an update on what we've done so far this morning.
We were hearing from all over our listening area and beyond. $123,737
Okay.
so far.
Great.
So next stop needs to be 150,000. I think we can do it in the next few minutes. Here's how you can help. You can go on to thejoyfm.com, click on Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text Florida to 68828.
I wonder if we could get a few folks giving gifts of $250 or $500. I'm just kind of looking at some of the breakdowns on what that actually does. And, without going into all the technical details, that goes directly to helping people as they are trying to get back on their feet again. For example, about $250 would provide essential relief supplies for a family of 4 for an entire week. For about $1,000, you would help to feed 30 families just immediately. And then for about $4,500, you can get 20 families for an entire week can be fed. I'm not sure how all of that math works with the work that they do, but this 4-star rated organization is lean and mean in the way they provide relief to people. And we trust them. They're doing great work. We've seen them firsthand, up close and personal. That's why we're asking you to give to Convoy of Hope today.
We have about 10 minutes before the top of the hour. And if we could, I know I've asked for it all morning, but 25 folks who could give $1,000, that would get us to the next milestone of $150,000. So just thank you for what you're doing. Again, you can go online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text Florida to 68828.
Now, if you're saying to yourself, but they haven't told me what to give, they're not telling me how much to give. Well, Carmen just gave you a hint. If you can give one of those $1,000 gifts, that would be extremely helpful today. If you, I couldn't just reach into my pocket, pull out a wad of $1,000 and hand it to you. Maybe you can't do that this morning. What can you do?
Yeah,
that's all we're really asking. Maybe it's $45. Maybe it's $4,500, which is one of the breakdowns, Bill. You were saying $4,500.
20 families for an entire week. That's amazing.
So you could feed 20 families for a week if you could give a $4,500 gift. That's not too bad.
That's a great thing, and we're just so thankful for whatever you can give today. Convoy of Hope can be your partner as well as our partner if you'll go to thejoyfm.com and click right there to give, or if you'll text the word Florida to 68828. You can text Florida 68828.
We had a lot of our friends who said, hey, how can I help? Can I sing a song for you? Can I give a note of encouragement? And we said yes and yes. Just set up a camera, and we'd be happy to have that. You can see that if you're live streaming with us on the website at thejoyfm.com or through our Facebook Live feed, either one of those places today. We had so many artists that responded. We won't be able to get to all of them today. We will house them all on the website. So later today, if you want to go by and see some of the performances you heard today or saw today, or if you want to see some of the other artists that responded, we'll have them posted there for you. One of our favorite people in the whole wide world is this Irish guy who came in one morning. We didn't have any idea who he was. And as soon as he sat in the chair, we fell in love with him. And
we called him Darren, but that was a mistake.
Apparently, because he says darn. But he's one of our favorite people, and he loves you as well. Here is Darren from We Are Messengers.
Hey friends at the Joy FM, it's Darren here with We Are Messengers. I'm honoured to be a wee part of this Hope After the Hurricane event, and I'd love to sing you a song, but unfortunately I got a wee cold and my voice is pretty shot. But what I will tell you is that the scriptures are full of encouragement for those who are suffering. We remember even to count our sufferings as joy, knowing that Christ has suffered before us and with us. But there is this hope that suffering produces perseverance, and perseverance character, and character leads to hope, which never disappoints because of Jesus. So I know that Convoy of Hope are already in the area doing cleanup work, getting people back on their feet. Please do continue to support them. Please go to the Joy FM for more information on how you can partner. And as for us, we love you guys. You're in our prayers. We've made so many special friends down in Florida over the years. And yeah, Hurricane Ian has come and gone, but the goodness of the Lord remains. And I promise you this, that he is working all things together for the good of those who love him and are called according to his purposes. So may all this turn for his glory and your good and mine. Love you guys. God bless.
Sometimes sorrow is the door to peace.
Sometimes heartache is the gift I need. You're faithful, faithful in all things. In every high, in every low, on mountain tops, down broken roads, you're still my rock, my hope remains. I rest in the arms of Jesus, come what may. You give to me. What hurt needs the healing is a holy thing. I see goodness, your goodness in all things. Yeah. In every high, in every low, on mountain tops, down broken roads. You're still my rock, my hope remains. I'll rest in the arms of Jesus. Come what may, come what may, come what may. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. The Lord is my shepherd, leads me to still waters, and he restores my soul. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He makes me lie down in green pastures. Oh, the Lord is my shepherd, leads me to still waters, and he restores my soul. In every high, in every low, on mountain tops, down broken roads, you're still my rock, my hope remains. I rest in the arms of Jesus. In every high, in every low, on mountain tops, down broken roads, you're still my rock, my hope remains. I rest in the arms of Jesus. Come what may, come what may, come what may, come what may.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for watching the stream here this morning. This is Candace.
That's me.
And I am JAR. Today, we want to say thank you. So many people helping out, giving as we partner with Convoy of Hope. This morning, you can text the word Florida to 68828. Also, you can give at thejoyfm.com.
And we hope that you do, because we would love to be able to gift a huge amount to the Convoy of Hope and to say, hey, guess what? The Joy FM listeners stepped up in a massive way. The Joy FM listeners have been begging us begging us on different ways to share their resources and their hope, and this is the best way to do that right now.
And sort of waiting, because when we're on from Athens all the way down to the southernmost part of our listening area is the area that got hit. But there were, amazing Joy FM listeners up in Georgia, all the way down through Tampa Bay that were like, tell us when, tell us how we can help. And today is the day where you can partner with us through Convoy of Hope to help. Candace, I was reading about, as we were preparing for this, we were talking about a lot of old, if there are some people in their 70s and 80s that when this hurricane came through, it's like, it wasn't planned to come through that area until like 2 days or less before it hit. So there were a lot of people who were like, it wasn't possible for them to get out. There was a church, a Baptist church, Southwest Baptist Church. Their steeple toppled, so there's a hole in the roof right now. But the church is being used. They held service on Sunday, this past Sunday, and each one of them, they took communion, sang songs, each one of them have different stories of what it went through when the storm surge came through.
Right.
And just horrible stories. The deductible for the church is $50,000. Some guy from Louisiana walked by and gave them $10,000. So there's just these little trickle stories that come out, and that's Convoy of Hope. Their website is just full of these stories of people who the major news networks will never be able to tell you these stories, but Convoy is there because they're dropping by hygiene kits and food packages and water. They are on the ground walking up to doors saying, here's what we have, what can we give you? And they're the ones that get the stories. And so we've been reading a lot of these stories that are on Convoy of Hope's website. And it's just stuff that's like, that's happening an hour and a half from where we're sitting right now.
Right.
And
Well, honestly, what struck me when you were talking about Pine Island and the people who didn't evacuate but were deeply affected, who were under 8 feet of water, and Convoy of Hope is bringing them care packages and supplies, and they're saying, no, I'm good for a day.
Or two.
Yeah, I mean, people being so generous that they're saying, no, give it to somebody who needs it more.
Right.
And Convoy of Hope is saying, I want to give above and beyond. We want to make sure that every single person affected has more than enough resources and help.
I remember watching that clip you were talking about because the person was like, oh yeah, I have a day's worth, 2 days worth. I'm fine. Give it to somebody who needs it more.
Right.
And the Convoy of Hope volunteers like, no, we're going to let you go pass this out to somebody. So here, take this. But it all starts with people supporting what's going on here
Absolutely.
today. You make these stories happen with your gift of support. Hear Hope After the Hurricane today. You can text the word Florida to 68828. 68828. Text the word Florida.
The Joy FM and Convoy of Hope present a special live-streamed broadcast with guests and exclusive performances, giving a way for you to help in the recovery and rebuilding in the wake of Hurricane Ian. This is Hope After the Hurricane.
Dave, Bill, and Carmen in the studio. We've got help in the live stream with Candace and JR, and we've got a lot of artist friends, and Johanna is here, all to try and encourage you to reach out to the people who are hardest hit by Hurricane Ian.
And folks are responding this morning. We've heard from several. I just got a gift here from somebody who said, I am in Memphis, Tennessee. And they said, we donated from Memphis. Thanks to the Joy FM and Convoy of Hope for giving us the opportunity to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And then I heard from somebody who said, thank you so much for the Convoy of Hope campaign. I wasn't sure how much to donate. I was thinking about $100, but then I heard the $250 can really be personal and sponsor a family for a week, so I decided to give that. So whatever you're giving today, whether it's $50 or $5,000, it all goes to Convoy of Hope, and it all goes directly to the relief of those most affected by Hurricane Ian right in the path of the storm in Southwest Florida.
Convoy of Hope, they are boots on the ground right now, helping those that were most impacted. And one of the things, we love a lot of things about Convoy of Hope. One of the things that we love most is that they're a faith-based organization. So when they show up at the distribution center, they're going to have folks there that will pray with them, that will help not only their physical needs, but their spiritual needs as well. And there's 2 ways that you can help this morning. You can go online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text Florida to 68828. And we're just hoping to raise a lot of support this morning for Convoy of Hope. We really prayed about how to help. And we do radio. So we've got this huge megaphone that we can ask our Joy FM listening family to help. And Convoy of Hope, it's just, they are built for this, to scale for just the massive need. I mean, 90% of Fort Myers Beach is just gone. And a lot of times when things like this happen, there's 2 ways you can help. You can give or you can go. And not all of us can go. We have jobs. We do not live in the area. And sometimes even when we go, if there's too many people, you can almost get in the way a little bit just for the workers that need to get in there and start the cleanup and the restoration and all of that. But all of us can give, and all of us can give something. So we just so appreciate your heart this morning. Thank you to our Joy FM listening family, whether you can give $25, $100, $500. Had someone from Dothan earlier this morning give $5,000. Then we had a friend give $10,000, and it's just whatever you can do. I mean, if everyone listening right now with our million-plus listening family gave $1, I mean, that just tells you how quickly it can multiply. So, Johanna, do you want to give us an update on where we are?
Sure. $136,000 has been raised so far.
Awesome. Would love to get to that $150,000 mark. I was actually talking to Alex, our videographer, a couple of minutes ago. He went down with you, Bill, earlier last week, and you guys met so many folks, but he was saying that he talked to one couple that they lived in a single-story house. This is when the storm surge, so the hurricane had already passed by. This is the storm surge that came in afterwards. And they lived in a one-story house, and just the water was rising. They knew that they had to get out of the house because it's making its way literally up to the roof line. So they swam. Can you imagine opening your front door or going out the window, however they had to do it, and they swam across the street? There is a road that you come home on, a road that you drive every single day. You are now swimming across the street to get to your neighbor's house, to get through their window so you can go up to the second floor. I mean, it's story after story after story.
I saw one story of a guy who swam down the road. I want to say he swam like a half a mile to get to his elderly mother and rescue her from her house.
Yes.
We saw all kind of stories like that.
Closer to home, Adam and Leah and Adelina finally went home to their house for the first time.
This is your
last
son?
night. This is my son, my daughter-in-law, and their little baby, 10-month-old, and they just went there last night. Now, if the water had risen another 6 inches where they were, they would be gutting their house right now. There's so many people in that position as well, whose houses have to be gutted because water was in it, who lost electrical supplies, appliances, all this stuff has to be replaced, who don't know what they're going to do for food for the next day. As they try to do these rebuilding efforts, if you've got to stop and figure out food and things like that, it just makes it that much harder. So Convoy of Hope is there providing essential relief supplies to folks in the Fort Myers area. They are, as we've said, boots on the ground right there in Fort Myers at First Assembly's parking lot, and they're going to be there for some time helping the folks out.
2 ways to help. You can go online at thejoyfm.com, or you can text Florida to 68828.
We've heard from old friends and new friends for this Hope After the Hurricane effort. One of our newest friends has been, he hasn't even been in our studios yet. He came and just visited with Carmen and I for a little while, and we loved him from the get-go. From the jump, he just felt like family. His name is Ben Fuller.
Well, hey everyone, my name is Ben Fuller, and I'm honored to be part of the Joy FM family. As most of you know, Hurricane Ian has tore through Florida and left a trail of devastation behind. It's moments and events like this where the body of Christ is needed more than ever, and we'll come together. We always do. So here I am, bringing some hope, bringing some love, bringing some encouragement to you, those of you that weren't affected, that are donating your time to just love on and help rebuild the parts of Florida that were lost. So thank you all for what you've done, and God is still so faithful. He will always remain faithful. In Jesus' name, I pray. Sing this song with me if you know the words, and declare, I have to do it every single day, that I'm a child of the Most High God, no matter what. I stand in front of the mirror, but I don't like who's looking back at me. Wish I could see things clearer. Oh, like who I'm supposed to be. In every trial, lift me higher. Through the fire, hold me tighter. Remind me again that I was made for more. Who I am in the eyes of the Father. Who I am is love set free. Who I was, I left at the altar. I am yours, Lord, I believe. Who I am, I'm a child of the Most High God. The Most High God's for me. Who I am, I'm a child of the Most High God. The Most High God's for me. Everything has been changing. You haven't left a stone unturned. anything I've been facing. Oh, I keep standing on your word in the water. Take me under, fill my lungs to speak your wonder. You brought me out of the darkness, I was made for more. Who I am in the eyes of the Father, who I am is love set free. Who I was, I left at the altar. I am yours, Lord, I believe. Who I am, I'm a child of the Most High God. Most High God's for me. Who I am, I'm a child of the Most High God. Most High God's for me. You gave up everything for me to have everything for all of eternity. A song in my lungs to sing. You gave up everything for me to have everything for all of eternity. A song in my lungs to sing. I'm a child of the Most High God. The Most High God is for me. I'm a child of the Most High God. The Most High God's for me. But who I am in the eyes of the Father, who I am is love set free. Who I was, I left at the altar. I am yours, Lord, I believe. Who I am, I'm a child of the Most High God. The Most High God's for me. Who I am, I'm a child of the Most High God. The Most High God's for me. I'm a child of the Most High God. The Most High God is for me. I love you guys so much. Thank you.
Hope After the Hurricane on the Joy FM.
You can give this morning to be a part of this Hope After the Hurricane event. You can text the word Florida to 68828, or you can give online at thejoyfm.com.
We have just about 50 more minutes to see how far we can go today to helping the folks that need it the most through Convoy of Hope. And so we're asking you to do something today. Get involved in this effort. Partner with us as we reach out to the folks in Southwest Florida.
And I would like to say a special word to us folks who are from Tampa, that live in Tampa. You know, a couple of days leading up to the hurricane, even longer than that, all the reports were headed for Tampa, headed for Tampa, headed for Tampa. And just for those of us who didn't get hit and who were spared, if you can do something this morning, just a special appeal to my friends in Tampa, St. Pete, Clearwater, especially since it was headed straight for us. And again, there's a couple of ways to help. You can go online at thejoyfm.com and click on Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text Florida to 68828. And I just know that we have lots of folks listening this morning, lots of folks who, after the storm, said, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? I love when you use the word we as a Joy FM listening family. And this is the answer to that question. Hope After the Hurricane. Partner with Convoy of Hope. We love these guys. We trust these guys. They're set up to just help huge amounts of people. They're down there. They're going to stay down there long after the media cycle has ended, long after folks stop coming, just because this is going to be months and months and months. So whatever you can do this morning to help. And Johanna, do you have another total for us?
Sure. We're $141,588.
Let's get over that 150. Let's get over that 150.
Let's get
Come
to
on,
150. If there are 9 folks right now that could give $1,000, or 18 folks that could give $500, whatever you can do, text Florida to 68828 or go online at thejoyfm.com.
Now, you've heard us talking about Convoy of Hope. We sent Bill down last week to take a look at the operation and to be our eyes and ears and to bring back a little information.
It's my perception that there are 3 parts to responding to a crisis like this. And the first is rescue, and that's still going on here in Fort Myers along the beaches. Then there's the at the end part, you have the restoration phase, which is trying to get back to normal. But this is the relief part of the effort that Convoy of Hope is leading here in Fort Myers. And Ethan, I wanted just to ask you to explain, why is it that giving to an organization like Convoy of Hope can often be more effective than loading up the truck and driving south?
Well, because we have that infrastructure and we have the relationships in place. When I say relationships, I mean with the churches where we land and are able to set up and get the supply to where it's needed, because they are our eyes and ears on the ground. But beyond that, the relationships with corporations who donate a lot of the product that you see around this makeshift warehouse. 98% roughly of what Convoy gets is donated product. And that's because corporations trust us to be good stewards with what they give us. They know that it's going to be used properly. So we're able to have that on hand and then get it to a site like this when the time comes.
For example, I can buy a bottle of water and bring it down, but if I put that same buying power in the hands of Convoy, you can multiply that.
Absolutely, 5 times.
That's amazing.
And we can get it there.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. We can take your dollar, stretch it so much further than you would be able to do on your own. And I know a lot of people, sometimes they feel like they're not doing enough.
Right.
But when you give money, it is doing enough, because we have the things in place, the mechanisms to make that dollar expand and stretch.
Hard question before I get you to show me around. So about how much of every dollar stays in the specific direct relief efforts that you guys are working on?
Last year, more than 91 cents of every dollar went where the donor wanted it to go.
That's amazing.
Well, that's hard work.
Yes.
But it's something that we take very seriously and we're very proud of.
Yeah.
Charity Navigator, you can look this up. Charity Navigator has rated us a top 4 out of 4-star charity when it comes to financial integrity for the last 18 straight years.
That's amazing.
That's tough to do, but we've done it, and now that we have that, we work hard to maintain it because you don't want to lose it.
When Dave and Carmen traveled to Biloxi, and they were looking around after Katrina came in, they were amazed at the well-intentioned efforts of people that actually were wasted, and how much it's important to have an infrastructure like you're describing in order to really get the aid where it needs to go. So will you walk me around and just show me some of the stuff that's in here and give people a sense of this operation?
You bet. We can maybe start here. This is boxed milk, 2% milk. A lot of this is baby supplies for kids, because kids need, what is this, baby food right here, Gerber baby food. We have wipes, we have diapers, we have everything that young families need to take care of their kids whenever you plan maybe for a few days without power, but you haven't planned for more than a week or so without power. Right. We have toilet paper, all the things that people are going to need. We have totes there so that they can save their valuables. They can put things in them that they're, if their house was messed up badly, they can just gather the stuff. Canned goods, of course, peanut butter. We have boxes. Paul's over there moving boxes of groceries that we've already bagged up. These are just the basic necessities that people need to get going from today into tomorrow and feel that hope that we were talking about.
And I noticed you even have generators here.
We do.
And you brought forklifts with you to move this stuff around. It's a working warehouse here in a tent.
It really is. This tent we had set up, we do this every time we're on a major disaster, so that we can work in and out of this warehouse. It protects the items and it allows us to keep them confined. But yeah, we bring down on those 16, 17 vehicles that we drive down in on the convoy. We have those hand carts, we have forklifts, we have everything. Because when we get into a town, there's a big chance that everything's destroyed that we would use. So, and if it's not destroyed, the people who own it are going to need it. So we bring everything so that we're not a drain on the community.
Yeah. One more angle that I'd like to get as I'm talking to you today. Let's go out in the parking lot and let's experience what it's like to be part of the effort of actually reaching people, touching them with the supplies that they need so that they feel that sense of hope.
Right.
Hey, I'm Taylor. I'm Madison.
I'm Logan.
And we're Cain. Joy FM family. We love you guys so much. One of our very first shows that we played in 2020 was for and with you guys, and we were so nervous. Yeah. And I couldn't believe the love and support, and we just hope so much that during this time you feel supported and loved by us. Yeah.
It's really hard for us to even have the words to relate. This is just such an awful thing, but more than anything, we wanted you to know we're praying for you tonight. We're thinking of all of you, and we wanted to even encourage those who were not affected, but they used their time, their prayer, their physical labor to help with the Hope After the Hurricane event.
Yeah, and if we know anything, we know that our God still is a God of redemption and a
Mhm.
God that leaves nothing unbroken and unfixed. And so we just wanted to sing a song with you tonight. Ready?
Ready.
In the dark and all alone, growing comfortable, are you too scared to move and walk out of this room? Buried underneath the lies that you believe, safe and sound, stuck in the ground, too lost to be found. You're just asleep, and it's time to leave. Come on, rise up, take a breath, you're alive now. Can you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? You're brand new, the power of death couldn't hold you. Can you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? Oh, rise up, out from the grave. Right now, we just pray. We believe and we call on the name of Jesus right now over everybody that is lost. We command that the enemy return everything that's been stolen. Come on, sing it. Oh, it's His calling us to walk out of the dark. Oh, yeah. And He's giving us new resurrected hearts. Oh, come on and rise up, take a breath, you're alive now. Can you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? You're brand new, the power that couldn't hold you. Can you hear the voice of Jesus calling us out from the grave like Lazarus? Oh, rise up, oh, rise up, out from the grave like Lazarus. Love you guys, man.
Welcome to Hope After the Hurricane. This is the live stream version. And are we the B team, Candace?
No, we're the online team.
Yeah. We're asking for your. So many people have been stepping. We've got this thermometer. Is that a barometer? Thermometer?
I don't know. It depends on where you're going with that.
Some kind of temperature gauge, but it's
the
to show
money
how
gauge.
much money has been raised so far. There's two ways you can give here today. You can go to thejoyfm.com, where many of you are watching this from. You can also text the word Florida without the A. No, I mean Florida.
Without the second A?
Without the first A. To 68828. 68828. You text the word Florida. We send you back. I think it's a link that you can give from. Candace, I read this was a volunteer from Convoy of Hope who we're partnering with. That's what you're giving towards. They are the boots on the ground helping out victims of Hurricane Ian. Don't withhold from people when it's within your ability to do something. And what I love about Convoy of Hope is they don't just talk about it. They go in and they actually, I mean, the volunteers, just if you've seen some of these videos of where they've gone, Fort Myers Beach and Pine Island, all these places that they have lost everything, to see the Convoy of Hope trucks down there. Here's a box with 16 meals that don't need to be heated up. They don't take any power to eat. To walk up to and knock on a door, hey, we're with Convoy of Hope. What do you need? I love that it's just because every house is going to be different. Okay, yeah, we lost everything, but we also need water today.
Right.
We need food today.
Right. Or depending on their family situation, you know, I mean, if you have a baby in the house versus teenagers, you're going to need different things in order to help your family. And that's what Convoy of Hope is doing, is bringing hope. I mean, truly door to door, going around bringing hope from their distribution centers. And that's what you're giving a gift of support to today, because, you know, we did our share-a-thon just a couple weeks ago, and you all were so generous. Thank you for donating. But we would really love to see your gift go further through Convoy of Hope with Hurricane Ian specifically right now when you give a gift at thejoyfm.com. You can get there by texting Florida to 68828. And if you have maybe experienced some of the side effects of Hurricane Ian, right? Like, I feel like there are some very specific cities that experienced the storm surge, the wind that blew homes down, but maybe you lost some branches in your yard and you did your cleanup and you're feeling, okay, we're kind of getting back to normal life. Remember, there are those that are in the very early stages of rebuilding that you could help in a significant way right now by texting the word Florida to 68828 or by going online to thejoyfm.com. If you're in Jacksonville, if you're in Orlando, this is a great time to help those that have been hit directly.
Yep. And I love the word hope is the central theme because when you see those that have lost everything, for them, it's just make it through this day. But when Convoy of Hope comes through, they give somebody for that day, not just water, but hope. And so that's what you're doing here today. Hope after the hurricane. Thank you for what you're doing. Text the word Florida to 68828.
Thank you so much for getting involved right now.
You're listening to Hope After the Hurricane on the Joy FM.
It is Dave, Bill, and Carmen, Hope After the Hurricane, a special edition of the Morning Cruise today.
We've got about 35 minutes left and just hoping to hear from some more Joy FM family members. You guys have been so sweet to respond this morning. There's two ways you can help. You can go online at thejoyfm.com or you can text the word Florida to 68828. And we're just really hoping that we can just make a huge impact. You know, it's one of those things where we really prayed about it. After the hurricane came through, we came together as a staff. We were in my office. We had a meeting, and we had a couple of different options that we could do. And once we really just looked at the need, looked at the scale of just the operation, we just knew that the best thing for us to do, the biggest impact that we can make as a Joy FM listening family was to partner with Convoy of Hope. They're down there. They know how to do this. They can stretch the dollars much further than we could. If we collected supplies ourselves, they can buy in bulk, and they're built for this. So if you could help today, that would be fantastic. Maybe you could give a $25 gift. Maybe you could give a $50 gift. Maybe there's still 25 folks that could give a $1,000 gift. We've had all different types of gifts this morning. We have 1 million weekly listeners. So if you do the math, if everyone right now went online and gave $1, that's how much we would raise in just about 5 minutes.
I know it's definitely possible. And this audience is so generous. You've proven it time and time again. Let me just tell you from the other side of this relief effort, what is happening. I've been getting some texts this morning from people who are giving. Somebody said, hey, I wanted to give. I didn't know how much to give. I heard that $250 would take care of a family for a day, so I wanted to do that. I heard that I could give a specific amount, but somebody else just texted and said, I want to let you know as a church member of a local church here in Port Charlotte, Florida, Convoy of Hope has personally delivered truckloads of supplies through our host church because our church location was 2 feet underwater. We are blessed to have family members supplied with everything from toiletries to food and free water. It has been such a blessing to serve, but also to receive these needed relief items for my own family.
Oh, my goodness.
I think it's very up close and personal, doesn't it?
Michelle, you've not been down to the Convoy of Hope tent, but you've been down in the area and you've seen the devastation firsthand.
It's unbelievable as you drive south. And I know just because I live out in the country, just to see people's barns and carports wrapped around trees like aluminum foil, you know, and trees down everywhere. And of course, a lot of the people down south dealt with the flooding and the levee breaking. And so houses underwater, my friends called. The one thing that they don't talk about when the hurricane came through is that we lost cell phone service. So nobody could communicate. You're trying to find out, are my kids okay? What's going on? And when we finally could communicate back and forth, just driving down south, I know, Bill, you saw this too, all of the trees snapped in half and things wrapped around trees, just like they're just twisted that way. And streets that don't look like streets because they look like waterways, you know? And at one place, the interstate was underwater when that levee broke. And our friends contacted us. Their horses were up to their chests in water. And they're canoeing in their front yard, which is not waterfront normally. And a few days after the hurricane, we actually drove up to the interstate. I was watching people rescue people by boats at the interstate where there was not normally water, and they were doing boat rescues right there along the side of the interstate. So we pulled up, we hiked up the side of this overpass with 50-pound bags of horse food. It was a little bit comical, actually, and gas cans, and we're hiking up and groceries, and I've got the s'mores and all the little extra sweet treats for them, and they were able to get by big old trucks through the water. I mean, we were looking at the road that's just underwater. People are trying to take their smaller cars, and they're floating away, and I mean, so many cars were damaged. But then there are our islands like Sanibel, beautiful Sanibel Island, just totally changed underwater. So thank you for your generosity today. When you're driving down there and you saw the row of first responders and you see the linemen from other states all coming to serve, it's really a beautiful thing to be the hands and feet of Jesus. And that's what we're inviting you into today.
Yeah, just being on the interstate and seeing the 18-wheelers coming south on 75, and it's Convoy of Hope. And I love the fact that they had their trucks already packed and ready to roll out. They were rolling out before the storm even made landfall, headed to this area. So we've got a little bit longer this morning. We have about 30 minutes left in this special edition of the Morning Cruise. And here's how you can help. You can go online to thejoyfm.com, click on Hope After the Hurricane, or you can text Florida to 68828. And I really hope that this last half hour is the biggest half hour that we have had this morning, because they're going to need help for a long time, and Convoy of Hope is just poised and situated and boots on the ground to help the most people in the most efficient way. So thank you for what you're doing this morning.
We had a few staff members that were, I won't say hit hard by Ian. We were inconvenienced.
Yeah.
The folks south lost everything. I was standing in the front of my house, watching my neighbor's banyan tree blow in the wind, seeing the ground be pulled up by the root ball of the banyan tree, which he ended up losing. It's amazing to see as you walk down. There are trees that are snapped in half. There are trees that are twisted and broken. There are oak trees that have been standing for 100 years, and the root system just gives up, and the whole tree falls over, bringing the earth and the root ball with it. We were fortunate not to have anything hit the house. We lost power for a couple of days. And even with that, when the power came, when I was able to get a generator and heat a can of Denny Moore stew, this is not fine cuisine, okay?
Yeah.
But when it's been a while since you had anything hot and you're able to heat, I mean, I took a bite of it and I thought, oh my gosh, this is the best thing I've ever tasted in my life.
It's perspective.
It's Denny Moore beef stew out of my hurricane preparedness kit,
Yeah.
But that's the kind of perspective that you get. And these people in Fort Myers, Sanibel, Captiva, that a lot of them still without power, still haven't had that experience. My first hot shower after power came back on was, oh man, after you take a couple of cold showers, you really appreciate the hot shower.
Here's what we're asking you to do this morning. We're asking you to partner with us as we partner with Convoy of Hope, and perhaps, think about if you went to the store right now, you went to the grocery store or Walmart, Target, and you picked up a case of water, maybe some cleaning supplies, maybe some diapers. You might spend $20, $25. Instead of making that trip to the store, would you make the trip to your computer or to your phone and give online at thejoyfm.com? Or you can text Florida to 68828, just the sheer number of people that we have listening this morning. If everyone did $5, $25, we could really make a huge impact. All of the money is going to our friends who have been most impacted in Southwest Florida through Convoy of Hope.
Here's a little encouragement from Apollo LTD.
The Joy FM family, it's Jordan from Apollo LTD. Listen, we just wanted you guys to know that we are praying for you. I can't imagine how scary it is worrying about the very roof over your head. So you guys have been through a heck of a few weeks. And everybody I know in Nashville is praying for you guys down there. So look, it's these seasons in life of trial and turmoil that we have to band together as the body and lift each other up. So we're praying for the affected. We're praying that you guys rebuild as soon as possible and better than ever, stronger than ever. And we're praying for those who are able to help. We're praying for resilience and strength, because you're going to need it. So, all right, let's play a song. This song was a song that we wrote a couple years ago when we were going through a bit of our own hurricane. And it just feels poignant to the moment. And I hope it ministers to you. So this song's called Patient. So this is broken, I guess. And if I'm being honest, I'm over my head. Hurt rages deep inside, wave after wave like the ocean tide. I've done all I can, it's out of my hands, yeah. It's easy to forget, it's a part of the plan. There's a light up ahead. But right now I'm restless, I need you because I'm anxious. I've done all I can, it's all in your hands, yeah. When my world keeps on shaking and I'm breaking, when the skies won't stop raining and I'm fading, help me to be okay with what I can't change and remind me there's meaning in the waiting. Help me to be patient. Help me to be patient. Don't know how long this will last. I need some reassurance that this too shall pass. I throw my hands up in the air, don't wanna be a slave to fear. I know I've gotta let go. I'm shaking and I'm breaking when the skies won't stop raining and I'm fading. Help me to be okay with what I can't change and remind me there's meaning in the waiting. Help me to be patient. Help me to be patient. Help me to be patient. Through every valley there's a mountain on the other side. It's at the bottom where you're teaching me how to climb. And though my heart may break, I know it's not in vain. I need only to be still. When my world keeps on shaking and I'm breaking, when the skies won't stop raining and I'm fading, help me to be okay with what I can't change and remind us there's meaning in the waiting. Help me to be patient. Oh, help me to be patient. Help me to be patient. Yes. The Joy FM family, we're praying for you. Much love.
You're listening to Hope After the Hurricane on the Joy FM.
Dave, Bill, and Carmen, and a host of friends. Hope After the Hurricane here on the Joy FM.
We have 23 minutes left in the show. I hope for those who have been watching online, you still can watch online. We still have, who do we have coming up? We have Big Daddy Weave and Stephen Curtis Chapman. You can watch online stream at thejoyfm.com, but we've got 23 minutes left to see how far we can go in raising support for Convoy of Hope. And we just thank you for all of those who have responded this morning. And a gift of any amount truly, truly helps. You know, maybe you'd go to the grocery store or Walmart, Target, pick up water, pick up diapers, and drop them off somewhere. Maybe instead of running to the store, it'd be easier just to log on right now and give a gift to Convoy of Hope. All the money that we're raising this morning is going directly to our friends in Southwest Florida.
Well, and that money you'd spend at the grocery store through Convoy of Hope does 5 times as much.
That's
good.
right. Yeah, because they can buy in bulk. They have relationships with so many different distributors. And Bill, when you were down there the other day, you and Haley both, y'all were talking about how it was just 4 stories high of just water, and you could walk through, and basically whatever you needed, it was right there for folks to be able to take to help.
They've got it all on pallets. I love the fact also that working with First Assembly in Fort Myers, they asked for, Pastor Russ asked for maybe 50 volunteers. 200 people showed up. They're so ready to help. And you can help today, too. You're helping Convoy of Hope as they actively distribute relief supplies, essential relief supplies that are life-saving to people. You're doing great work this morning as you give to Convoy of Hope and as you allow the hands and feet of Jesus to work through these partnerships. This is the answer to the question, what can we do to help? This is what we do. And the more money that we raise, the more impact we're going to have.
Yeah.
So we're asking you to do your best. We still have a few minutes. Give what you would give in buying some relief supplies. If you're going to buy a generator, you didn't have to because maybe you were in an area that wasn't affected. You can contribute that money. All of it goes directly to the relief supplies. Convoy of Hope is just a conduit to get the stuff where it needs
That's
to
right.
be, and the infrastructure they have set up accomplishes that.
We have such a large listening family. We cover Florida. We cover Georgia. We cover Alabama. We have 1 million weekly listeners, and the multiplication will just work if we have 100 folks right now. If you just all went online at the same time, maybe you could give $10. Maybe you can give $50. Maybe you can give $100. Maybe you can give $500. We had someone earlier this morning give $10,000. We had another friend give $5,000. I just know that we have enough people listening right now that if we all gave what we could give, it would make a huge impact. And again, it goes directly to the families most affected by Hurricane Ian. And we just love the folks at Convoy of Hope, the work that they're doing on the front lines. And we trust these folks, and this is who we're partnering with. And also to remind you, too, that they're a faith-based organization. So not only are they going to get a lot of their physical needs met, they're going to pray with these people. They're going to meet their needs spiritually as well.
It
just
really
to
is
be there.
hope. They're really giving hope.
Hope, yeah.
Here's another behind-the-scenes look at what Bill found out when he went down to Fort Myers.
While we were standing here just a moment ago, a rescue helicopter went overhead.
Yes.
So rescues are still going on. You had somebody in your congregation who went through a rescue, who needed rescue.
Yeah, we've had a few of them, but the most dramatic one was our close friends, my wife and I, just people that we got close to in our church. He's my golfing buddy. He's a doctor, and they were on Sanibel, and we were in touch with them when everybody thought it was a Category 3. They said, we've chosen to stay because we're doctors just in case they needed help. But when it went to almost Category 5, everybody was stuck because they said, okay, the winds are above 40 miles an hour, all the bridges are closed, so stay in shelter. So we were very concerned as we were watching live coverage of how bad it was, and the storm just sat over Sanibel and Fort Myers for hours, and that's what caused the exponential devastation. So we were afraid because we'd been to that house, we knew what those storm surge heights would look like, whether they were going to make it or not. The water levels got up to their second story within a few inches, but we hadn't heard from them. We texted, we called, we didn't hear back. It was a long night of praying and waiting. The next morning, I got the worst and best text that I've ever had, which was, we made it, we survived, so we were crying tears of joy. At the same time, they were like, do you know anybody with a boat to rescue us? Because we have no way to get off the island. We can wade through the waters to the shorelines if you could find somebody. So I called the few people I knew that had boats, and they're like, Pastor, our boats are gone. Everything's gone. We don't have boats to even get there. And so I looked up the National Coast Guard number, sent it to them, but literally the National Coast Guard was just flying over and saw him waving a yellow shirt, and they said it was the yellow shirt that caused them to stop. We were able to get together with them and reunite with them here at the church. We laughed, we cried. I was able to loan them a car that belonged to my father, but they had the shirts in their backs. But, you know, they were also praising God for safety. They just said, you know, it's just stuff. But their first thing was opening up their practice again because there's not enough medical help because of so many offices closed down. Today they're operational.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Weaver. I'm out on the road with Big Daddy Weave right now, but I heard what our friends from the Joy FM were doing, and they just really want to send wishes of hope and of love and of condolences and all of those things. And we just really want to join in with that to all of the people who have been directly affected by this awful storm, Hurricane Ian. Man, I know how that is. My family dealt with that for years. We lost everything in 2004 in a storm. And so, man, my heart is just going out to you. And even as you just look at, man, the devastation, how it looks like, how can we even come back from this? Man, I just want to pray over you. Man, just hope in the Lord. And I also want to thank our friends and others who are responding to, man, the call to come and to help. If you can help in some way, if you can go and volunteer, if you can send resources, if you can partner with Convoy of Hope, which is making a huge impact in this entire situation, man, we really want to encourage you to do that, and thank you for doing that if you already have. It's a really important and really awesome opportunity to be the hands and feet of Jesus in this moment, specifically to my friends who have been directly affected though, and maybe you've lost everything, and I know that feeling. How one day everything is normal, and then the next day it's just feels like everything's gone. And I just want to pray over you right now that God's Spirit would just be so real, His presence would just be so real, even there with you, and that this is not the end. This is the beginning. This is a new beginning. And I just wanted to take a chance to sing a song that we've been singing over a lot of people out here on the road, and singing over us even as we've gone through difficult seasons of life. We serve the one and are literally surrounded by the one who makes all things new. Yes.
I've heard you can take what's broken and make it whole again. Well, here's the pieces of my heart. What can you do with them? 'Cause I can't hold them all together anymore. So I let them fall, surrendered to the floor. You make all things new. You make all things new. A God of mercy and love, do what only you can do, and make all things. Listen. From the ashes, from the dust, I will rise up, out of darkness into the light. I will rise up, from the ashes, from the dust. I will rise up, yes you will, out of darkness into the light. I will rise up, you make all things new. You make all things new. A God of mercy and love, do what only you can do, and make all things, you make all things new. Oh yes, you do. Do it for my friends, God.
Love you guys.
You're listening to Hope After the Hurricane on the Joy FM.
It is Hope After the Hurricane. Dave, Bill, and Carmen here at the Joy FM.
A couple of things I want you to hear this morning. Number one, thank you for everyone who has gone online and given a gift. Those who have texted Florida to 68828. Thank you so, so much. The links are going to be up for quite some time today. So if you're still driving in, trying to get to the office so you can get to a computer, you can do that. They'll be there. So just thank you for what you're doing. We have about 12 minutes left. And still would love to, let's see where, Johanna, I'm going to check in with you and see where we are.
We are almost at 162,000.
Okay. All right. So that would be, what, 38,000 more to get to 200?
Love to see that. About 38 folks with a $1,000 gift would do it.
It could happen. It
Sure
could
could.
definitely happen. We'd love to get to that $200,000 mark. But thank you for your generosity. We just so appreciate everything that you've done this morning.
Because everything goes towards, just think about that family on the other end of this, who may be struggling, trying now to assess the damage, to figure out what's insurance going to cover, how am I going to address this situation? Oh, my goodness, what are we going to do for dinner? Well, Convoy of Hope comes along, it's solved.
Yeah.
What are we going to do? We can't drink the water. The water's, I know that in portions of our listening area that have a lot of well water, that water's not drinkable right now.
Yeah.
Convoy of Hope is there with fresh water. What are we going to do for supplies for the baby? There's only one grocery store open, and they're out of diapers. Convoy of Hope is coming in. They've got diapers, essential relief supplies. That's what you're supplying to the folks most affected by the hurricane in Southwest Florida. Again, we want to say thank you, and we want to challenge you. If you've been listening this morning, and maybe you've been watching the live stream, what could you do to give to help these families that are in need?
Yeah, and maybe you could give a $500 gift. Maybe it's a $5,000 gift. Everything is going directly to Convoy of Hope to help those affected. And we've shared stories this morning. The story of Matt was one of the first stories that I read. And just to recap it really quickly, Matt and Trish, they had just rebuilt from Irma, and they're talking with their neighbor, and the storm surge is coming in. Matt talks to his neighbor and says, "Get on the kitchen counter." And they get on the kitchen counter. The water hits them there. And so they said, "Go upstairs." They get upstairs. The water is still rising. They make their way up to the attic. And Matt said it was just some of the longest moments there where he's just saying, try to get through the roof. Do whatever you can to beat through the roof. And his neighbor finally got on top of the roof. And it was such a sigh of relief for Matt and his wife, Trish, to go, "Oh, they're going to be okay." And they were on the roof, and they were able to be rescued. But just so many stories of just devastation. Folks literally not walking across the street to get to a 2-story house, but swimming across the street. So Convoy of Hope is there, as Bill said, whatever they need, the hot meals, the diapers, the cleaning supplies, whatever it may be. Convoy of Hope is there. We trust them. And just hoping that we can really make a big impact. We have about 9 minutes left. And again, the link is going to stay up for quite some time today. So if you can't make it in the next 9 minutes, know that you can still give online at thejoyfm.com, and you can also text Florida to 68828.
One of the things that the daylight revealed was the scope of this disaster, how large it was, and we didn't know that until after it was all over. So our relief effort needed to be scaled to meet that scope.
That's right.
And that's why Convoy is the right solution here. So thank you for what you're doing. Your gifts are tax deductible. We're so thankful to be able to share with this nonprofit ministry. And we would ask you, text the word Florida to 68828 or go to thejoyfm.com to give today.
You wanted to help. You asked what to do, and that's what we're telling you today. Convoy of Hope is going to be able to do so much more than we could individually, and every gift that you give will go right to the people that need it the most. You can text the word Florida to 68828, or you can give at thejoyfm.com.
Well, hello to my Joy FM family. Stephen Curtis Chapman here, and with a very heavy heart, so sorry just for the devastation that so many of you are experiencing as a result of Hurricane Ian right now. And like so many people all around the country, lifting you up and praying for you. I also want to say thank you to those who maybe have been less affected still in that area, who are reaching out with physical, tangible comfort and help, not only through prayers, but just through participating in Hope After the Hurricane, through a partnership with Convoy of Hope, a wonderful organization that I've had a relationship with through the years. So I'm so thankful for your involvement in that. Continue to support all these efforts that are going on. That would be my encouragement for you, because we have a unique opportunity here as we want to encourage others to not lose heart, as a song maybe that I am singing currently says. And how do we do that? How do we, not lose heart? It's so often through the tangible expression from others of hope and encouragement to us. And 2 Corinthians says this. It's incredibly encouraging for us at times like this. It says, "Our God is our merciful Father and the source of all comfort. And he comforts us in all our troubles so that we can comfort others when they are troubled. And we will be able to give them the same comfort that God has given us." So God bless you as you do that. And God be with you and comfort you in this time. And don't lose heart. God bless you. Thanks.
Another sleepless night, praying hope comes with the morning light. And right now you're feeling like you've lost this fight, and fear is screaming out your name. When you say, "God help me," you wonder if he's even listening. Truth is, I wonder the very same thing, so you don't have to feel ashamed. Let me walk with you through this valley and tell you all that I've learned to be true. Don't lose heart, don't you dare let go. I've been where you are not alone. I know it gets dark, I know it gets hard, but we're gonna make it home. So don't lose heart. I'll show you all the scars from where I've been. Remind you how we both know this story ends. And I know you'll do the same for me. These afflictions that are only temporary are gonna turn to glory beyond compare. So don't lose heart, don't you dare let go. Been where you are not alone. Tight to every promise God has made. You can lose the fear in the light of grace. Just lift your eyes to your Father's face. Hear the song he's singing over you. Don't lose heart, I won't ever let you go. I'm right where you are, you're safe in my arms. So don't lose heart, don't you dare let go. Been where you are, you're never gonna be alone. I know it gets dark, I know it gets hard, but we're gonna make it home. So don't lose heart. No, don't lose heart. Don't lose heart.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Candace. This is JR.
Hi, I'm JR.
And we cannot say thank you enough for all the help here today. We've been watching just so many gifts coming in this morning.
It's been incredible.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest part of it is that all of your gifts of support is going straight to Convoy of Hope this morning. That's exactly what we're doing. There is no secret agenda other than, hey, how can I help? This is how you can help, is by supporting Convoy of Hope in the efforts that they have already been undertaking. There are distribution centers. There are people going door to door handing out food, hygiene packets, the necessities that people are so in need of. I mean, when you, even if you spend any time without power, you know how necessary some of those things are.
Yeah, and we're going to go to a Danny Gokey video in just a bit, but I do want to let me put my pencil down so that you and I can. We have a team of people that have helped put on this stream. And before we part, thank you for doing this, even down to hair and makeup. Thank you so much for all that. Yeah, it was on a serious note, though, Candace, when I was driving in this morning in the DAC, Krispy Kreme and I were talking about things are out of sight, out of mind for a lot of people. So on my drive from my house to the station, there maybe was one moment that I could notice that a hurricane was even close. There was one billboard right at this stoplight where this Mexican restaurant is. And I noticed the billboard was out, and I was like, oh, that's right. A hurricane came through. And then you start doing some of our research for today's Hope After the Hurricane. It's like where that hurricane came through these people today, it's a completely different life than I'm living today. I, after 2 weeks, didn't even notice a hurricane came through except for that billboard. But these people, when everything is taken from you and everything is gone, your focus on that day is, okay, well, I need food, sleep, food, water, and then maybe I can think about rebuilding my castle in a sense. That's where their mind's at. And that's where Convoy of Hope is so important, because they step into these people who have absolutely nothing. They focus on food and water and forget about comforts. It's rebuilding a life. And this is the day that we're raising the funds to help Convoy of Hope. But as you mentioned, Convoy of Hope, Steve, my buddy Steve, saw the Convoy of Hope trucks the day after the hurricane, or 2 days after.
Yeah.
He's like, I just saw a whole line, a Convoy of Hope trucks heading south. And you mentioned earlier, it's like it'll give you goosebumps. The thought that these people, this is what they do. They head straight into areas where people have nothing. That's what people are giving for here today. Is for those people who have nothing.
Right. And for those 2 or 3 days after the hurricane, it really was so encouraging. And really, I mean, just constant goosebumps to see EMS professionals, to see linemen, to see, all of these different organizations coming into the area affected the most, coming into Fort Myers, going down the highway and seeing all of the help headed towards people that were affected by Hurricane Ian. And in the next months, years to come, people are going to be saying things like, well, when Ian came through. Because that's what we've heard, of course, with Katrina. That's what we've heard with, Charlie and Michael and all these different massive hurricanes that came through and caused serious devastation. And so if you can look back on that and realize the work that is still ahead of so many people, I think giving a gift of support to Convoy of Hope is one of the biggest ways that you can help right now, because that rebuilding starts with the necessities. It starts with the necessities, then we'll be moving on to cleanup and moving on to rebuilding. And that process it has to happen, but there are so many resources needed in order to make that a fast and successful mission.
Yeah. One more time, this was a quote on Convoy of Hope's website. Don't withhold from people when it's within your ability to do something. And Convoy of Hope is doing something. And we today are taking these airwaves to motivate you, to help them so that they can go in and continue to help people get back up on their feet. Again, you can text the word Florida to 68828. 68828. Or you can give right at thejoyfm.com on behalf of Candace and I. Thank you for watching the stream.
Thank you so much.
And thank you for helping. And let's go to a clip from Danny Gokey right here.
Thank you so much.
Hey, Joy FM family, Danny Gokey here, and just wanted to give you guys a little hope after the hurricane, because I know so many people have been affected. You know, we live in Tennessee, and you know, sometimes from the distance, it feels helpless. Like, what can we do? But here's what I know: prayer works, and also encouragement works. You know, the Bible says this: it's be anxious for nothing, but in everything by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known unto God. And the peace of God, which passes all understanding, would guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. That's what I know. If right now you're feeling anxious and you've been affected by this, or your family affected by this, or you're someone who's working in the middle of it, trying to repair and trying to bridge the gap with all the damage that's been done, cast your cares on the Lord, be anxious for nothing, and know that God is on your side. And just like Nehemiah, he can help you rebuild the walls. I want to thank Convoy of Hope for all the work that you're doing down there in Florida, and also the Joy FM family for keeping people encouraged. I got a song that I wanted to share with you. It's right along the lines of, it's called Peace. If you're in a hospital, if you're facing the impossible, God can give you peace. Know this, you're in our prayers, and the best is yet to come. Rebuild and watch what God can do.
Anybody out there got some troubles? Anybody out there got some heartache? Me too. Just when you think it can't get any worse, somehow it gets worse. But my friend, hold on, when it feels like I might have a breakdown. I got a friend closer than a brother, saying lay down your burdens, your heartache, your hurting. It may not make sense, but here in this mess, I have peace. I have peace. Peace that surpasses understanding. I know life's out of my hands, but I'll make it through, 'cause I got you. When my world's in 1,000 pieces, Jesus, you're the only reason I have peace. Let me go a little further, I'm about to break it down. Every life has two choices. Yeah, you can let go, or you can control. I chose to let go. Now deep in my soul, I have peace. I have peace. Peace that surpasses understanding. I know life's out of my hands, but I'll make it through, 'cause I got you. When my world's in 1,000 pieces, Jesus, you're the only reason I have peace. In the valley, in the waiting, in the trials, in the hurting, even in the hospital, facing the impossible, you give me peace. Even pain, persecution, take it all away, there's one thing I'm not losing. I feel the wave of your presence wash over my soul, and I know, yes, I know I